in my scumbag days, I've spent a lot of time at strip clubs, but not really strip clubs out here. And the only strip club I've been to that's out where we're living now, I did not want to take her to. And she also didn't want to go there. Like, she's heard of the place, and yeah. So they lost their liquor license because there may have been some prostitution going on there at one point. Like, it's not a place I really wanted to take my wife to go. So now I'm like researching strip clubs, and I'm talking to people that I work with who, you know, have been to these strip clubs and stuff like that. And I've kind of narrowed it down to 2, and I'm not sure. So I read reviews, and what I'm going to tell you is, if you're ever thinking about, well, I don't read the reviews, I look at the star reviews.
Yeah.
If you're ever thinking about picking a strip club, do not pick it based off review scores, because they're bullshit. So like the day of, my brother-in-law came over and watched our daughter while we went out, and I was talking to him and explaining everything that was going on, and he's telling, you know, he looks at one of the strip clubs I was talking about, and I looked at pictures and everything, and I was kind of set on it. And he's like, this place looks like a shithole, but it does from the outside, and the inside it looks nice. He didn't look. So then I started second guessing myself, and I'm looking around. I see a couple places, and this one place had 4 stars. It even said that they had pool tables there. So I'm like, all right, that'll be cool. Like, if she's not really like, because she's never been, she doesn't know what to expect back, but I know she loves playing pool. So like, if she's not really into that, like, we can step to the side and play pool, this and that. The name of the strip club should have been my first red flag, because the Lamplighter Gentleman's Lounge is not necessarily the name of a place that you're probably going to want to go, but it's been open since 1971. So I was like, if it's been in business that long, it's probably got to be decent, right? No.
It's an institution at this point.
Oh, your Wi-Fi got so much better all of a sudden. Thank God.
Let's not jinx it.
Yeah. No. So here's the thing. Hi, Vince. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, we like to go on adventures, right? So we're going to go on an adventure. This place is about an hour and a half from our house. So we're going to leave. We'll go to dinner. We'll go on this adventure. It'll be a fun adventure to the strip club. We'll do the strip club thing, and then we'll come home. And, you know, it is what it is. So I did not know that in the middle of nowhere, fucking Illinois, there's just a random Norwegian settlement. So we drive through this town called Norway. They have a Norse museum and a Norwegian memorial, and literally the entire town is just on this strip of road that we're driving through. And then when you get to the outskirts of town, there is an intersection with no stop signs, that has because you're in the middle of fucking nowhere, that has one single street light, and underneath the street light is, no bullshit, a crashed airplane on the corner of the road, just chilling there.
Oh my gosh, what the hell? It's a horror movie?
Like, where the fuck are we?
Right.
Then we get to the Lamplighter, and as soon as I pull into this place, because again, I was stupid and I made a decision and I didn't actually research the place. I just was like, 4 stars. The other places I was looking at, they were like 3.5, 3.7. Pull in, I look at the parking lot, and the parking lot is not full on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock, and that is never a good sign for a strip club. So I'm like, all right, this is red flag number 2. Red flag number 3 was when we got out of the car, and my wife was having a smoke before we went inside, and out of the strip club came a woman, her husband, and what I'm assuming was their 20-something-year-old child together, and the woman goes, "That's something I never have to do again." At which point my wife looked at me like, "Where the fuck did you bring me?" And I'm thinking, I have no idea, but we're gonna find out. Oh, did we find out?
No.
So again, in my scumbag years, I've spent a lot of time at strip clubs. Daisy Dukes in Davenport. I've been to Club 390. I've been to the Oasis. I've been to the Admiral in the city, Blackjack. I've been all over in Iowa and in fucking parts of Illinois, normally farther south and into the city, for strip clubs. But I wanted to do something new, and I wanted to take her someplace I thought was going to be chill. So we go inside. She's already nervous as shit. As soon as we walk through the doors, the music that's playing cuts off, and everyone looks at us. There are about 25 people in the building, not including the 7 strippers. The reason the music cut off is because there is no DJ at the strip club. The girls have their phones synced to a Bluetooth speaker, and they are playing music from their phones on the speaker, and it is the girls that are dancing on the stage that are choosing the music. Mind you, this is like a biker bar with a stage and a stripper pole, like a 10 by 10 stage and a stripper pole. This is not a strip club. Nobody asked for IDs, carded us, anything. I walked right to the bar. That's where they took my entry fee. Luckily, my wife got in for free. I got her a tequila sunrise, and I'm looking, and my wife, who is the most beautiful person in my eyes, pretty much anywhere I go, was probably the most beautiful person in everyone's eyes, including the 7 strippers that walked into the strip club. There were 4 of the 7 strippers on stage dancing at once. None of them were taking their clothes off. They were just kind of moodily moving to whatever song was playing and then cutting off. I'm trying to get the 3 guys by the stage into it with them.
Justin, stop.
So I'm like, maybe we should just leave.
In case you couldn't picture it, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I was like, maybe we should just leave. And I'm like, do you want to get a drink? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So she gets a tequila sunrise and we go, and she's like, I want to sit in the back. So we go and we sit in the back, right? And we're sitting down because she's like, I want to observe. I don't want to participate. As soon as we sit down, the only stripper that had nice boobs, mind you, comes directly up to our table and leans over and has her right boob pretty much resting on my wife's face. As she is talking to us, which made my wife extremely uncomfortable, just kind of telling us about what's going on. And then she's like, would you like to stick some dollars in my tits? And my wife's like, no, that's not something I want to do. But she wouldn't go, so I handed my wife $4. So now I've spent $5 to get in. I bought her drink and then another $4 in singles that I handed my wife that she stuck in this woman's cleavage so she would go away. Bare breast, basically touching my wife's face. We're sitting there and I'm looking on the stage. One of the strippers has the biggest feet I've ever seen on an individual in my life. Another one is in a red nightie and ankle socks.
What?
The third one wasn't bad. The fourth one that was up there was probably about 5 months pregnant, had jean shorts on that she couldn't button in the front.
Where the fuck did y'all go?
So my goal was to take my wife to a strip club to have fun, so like she enjoyed herself and maybe wanted to go back. Like we could make it a anniversary tradition. She is scarred at this point. Like this is the worst place I've ever been in my life. I have no idea how this got 4 stars. Like only the people that worked there must have rated it.
Exactly.
And they didn't even give it 5 stars. I have no idea. Also, normally at a strip club, they have like a back room where you can go and get lap dances. This strip club did not. What they did have was chairs up against the wall in the main room that they are in, and one pool table that was occupied, where strippers were just giving lap dances to people right there on the floor, and it happened to be the chair right directly behind where we sat. My wife drank a tequila sunrise faster than I have ever seen her drink a drink in her life, and just as I leaned over to tell her, hey, would you like to go somewhere else? It can't get any worse than this, at a normal volume that you would say talking over music so someone could hear you. The music then cut off again.
No.
The only dance we really fully stayed for them was 4 girls on stage twerking, and I'm not exaggerating that, to the YMCA.
Yes.
No. What?
So I told her, I'm like, finish your drink. We'll get the fuck out of here. I'm like, listen, there was another place I wanted to take you. We'll go there. She's like, let me think about it. By the time we got there, like she was already scarred from the one strip club, and her anxiety level had risen to a point where when she saw all of the cars in the parking lot, she's like, yes, I don't want to do that. So that was done for the night. So I said, maybe we'll try again next year and I'll do better. Because I completely fucked this up. But by the time we got home, we were laughing about it, the whole experience, and we're like, listen, I could have taken you to any regular strip club, and you could have been either like, oh yeah, this is fun, I had a good time, and when people, oh yeah, I really liked it, or not really been into it. When people's like, oh, how was your trip to the strip club? It was what it was, I didn't really like it. Or we could tell them this insane story about finding a random Norwegian settlement in the middle of fucking Illinois in a crashed airplane and going to the scummiest, skeeziest biker bar with a strip stage that I could have found.
Right.
And that's what we did.
That's a better deal. You
Yeah.
you get to tell the crazy ass story. You know what I'm saying?
Now we got a memory for our
What the
50,
fuck?
and like we're never
Exactly.
gonna forget.
And some people wait a lifetime for a moment like that.
Shut up, Kelly Clarkson.
Dude, I have no idea about the airplane. I don't know. I don't know anyone in Norway to ask. I don't know why it was there.
Like,
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I gotta look that up later.
that was my trip to the strip club on our 5-year anniversary. My wife's first trip to a strip club ever.
If my first time to a strip club's ever like that, I'm throwing hands with somebody.
You never been?
Everybody, because your hands are bisexual and everyone can get them.
Exactly. No, I've never gone, Jess.
Oh, okay. Something that we all should probably embark on. All right.
I've done worse.
We could try to make that happen.
All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
We got a couple people in the chat. We're gonna get started. And here we go. Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the debut episode of the #1 wrestling podcast. Fuck that up. #1 horror podcast on Pornhub. Getting Offed. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the warden Matt Ritter. I am here with my co-hosts and friends this evening. From the She Elite Showcase. She's a shaman of She Elite, host of Inside the Mind of In the Crowd, and of course the She Elite Showcase. The hardest working woman in podcasting today, Miss Katie Kinsey Bay. And from the Get Yo podcast, and you may have to bear with us as his computer gets all unfriended on us from occasion. It's your boy Jess.
Yo, where my Heidi Hoes at? Aunt Maggie's? Where's the Aunt Maggie's?
Oh, you're terrible.
And this being the debut episode of the #1 horror movie podcast on Pornhub, where sex dolls can kill you. We are actually going to talk about Chucky because tomorrow, for I think everyone, tomorrow still. Season 2 of Chucky debuts on USA, so we wanted to get you ready by kind of going through the show chronologically, and I'll explain it when we get into it. But we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, but mostly season 1 of Chucky. And I couldn't think of anyone better to do this with than two people that I have talked movies with. Katie specifically, I introduced to what horror movies were. She'd never seen one before she met me, so between Reek and I, she is now fully fledged into her horror movie fandom. That's the word I'm looking for. Fandom. Yes. Also, Jesus, yes, my mic has always lit up whenever I've talked, when I've had it on this setting, which has been very rare. So, but yes, technically. So the way I think what we're going to do this is I'm going to do what we kind of stopped doing on Smack and Raw a little bit, but I'm going to stick to kind of the idea of Smack and Raw. So we're still going to spit and swallow. But I'll give some brief rundowns of some things, and then you guys tell me what you liked and what you didn't like via spitting, what you don't like, or swallowing, what you do like. You guys know the rules. You've been here plenty of times before. And we'll work our way through the entire Chucky franchise a little bit. We'll spend a little less time on the movies, but we'll talk about them. And into season 1 And then, depending on how we're doing on time, maybe we'll talk a little bit of what we're hoping to see, what we might see in season 2.
Yes.
Sound good, everybody?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yay.
All right. So, one of my favorite things about the Chucky series is they gave us flashbacks to the life of Charles Lee Ray. You see him as a child. You see, those psychopathic tendencies that you always hear about, torturing animals, even inflicting self-harm on himself, biting into an apple with a razor blade. And then we get the culmination of his first kill, which was of his fucking mom. Mind you, there is already a serial killer in the house who murdered his father. And while he and his mom are hiding in a closet, he's just like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, and kills her to help the serial killer out. Then we move to his teenage years. He's at a home for boys, orphans,
like a boys' home
he's
type of thing.
Yes, he's connecting with these little kids, telling them like the evil version of Peter Pan, not like the happy Disney version that we get, and runs into a janitor that he's not very fond of, murders him, and decides he's going to take these kids out into the woods on a Peter Pan adventure to go find Captain Hook. Well, Captain Hook is dead because it's the fucking janitor, and he cut his hand off and shoved a hook in there. All the kids freak out except for one, little Eddie Caputo, who is important later. And then when he realizes, hey, I'm kind of fucked, I better get out of here because they're going to figure out I'm the one that did this, leaves Eddie a little gift, which is the severed hand of Captain Hook, in a box. And then that's where things get interesting, because now we're getting into Tiffany and them actually casting someone to look kind of like a young Brad Dourif. Chucky's at a bar. He meets a lovely girl named Delilah. Delilah is extremely aggressive with men, biting them on the neck and then telling them to suck it up and nut up if they don't like it. And Chucky is attracted to this, so he's like, hey, fuck it, like, let me talk to this chick. They hook up and they meet someone that they call Red, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna get this whole threesome deal on. Like, we're gonna take her back to our place, you guys fuck around a little bit, and then I'm gonna kill her. That was the plan, and that's kind of how it went down, except when he told Red, or when he got the knife to go kill Red, she just dropped to her knees and was begging for it. She's like, yeah, give it to me, stab me, go ahead, do it, fucking do it. So what does he do? He stabs and kills Delilah, gives her the knife, and then she starts stabbing Delilah as well, and comes so hard her voice changes. Which I will be referring to as a gorgasm. So she has a gorgasm, and then afterwards they start just having sex covered in Delilah's blood, fucking around. She looks at him and he's like, oh, I'm Charles, and she's like, I'm Tiffany. Oh, this is Tiffany. Oh, you should call yourself Chucky. You should be a blonde. And now we've set the scene. Going forward, they're doing lovely couple things. They're getting a car together and murdering the guy that owned it so that they didn't have to pay for it. They go to Chicago. They're sharing pizza and killing delivery boys. And this is where things start to unravel, because now we see, while in Chicago, Chucky's off doing his own thing, killing people without talking to Tiffany, and she's not happy about it. Like, this is things that couples do together, and they're not doing it. And the reason for that, we find out in Curse of Chucky, is that Chucky's actually fallen in love with someone else who is extremely unavailable. And when I say that, I mean she's married, pregnant, and already has a daughter. But that did not stop Chucky whatsoever. So he murders her husband, kidnaps her, plans to go get the daughter, but the cops show up beforehand. He thinks that Mrs. Pierce was the one that called the cops, so stabs her in the stomach. She lives, don't worry. Baby paraplegic, but she lived. We'll talk about Nika later. We find out that it wasn't her who called the cops, but it was actually Tiffany who ratted Chucky out, got him killed, and led to what we will talk about when we get into season 1. But early on, flashbacks. What do you guys got? Spits and swallows.
Just go first.
I loved the flashbacks. I really did. of course, like I like the tie-ins to everything that it just made the story so much better. Because when you're watching the first movie, it just like takes you right then. You're like, this guy's running from the police. Then he does the whole voodoo thing, gets into the doll, and you're like wondering like, what the fuck? Why was he running? Like, why is he such a big serial killer? And then so the flashbacks kind of explain all that. Sidebar. This season one, if we're going to talk about just a little bit of it right now, like I like that there was a lot of homages to like Halloween.
Okay.
This the flashback with it starts off with the babysitter combing her hair, just like in Halloween, the same thing. There's a lot of other things that we'll probably get into that there was a lot of homages from Halloween too. So I enjoyed the flashbacks, man. It was dope.
Yeah, but specific spits or swallows from the flashbacks.
Oh yeah,
like
right.
like I'm spitting the fact that they dubbed over the actors who were portraying a young Tiffany and Brad Dourif's voices because it was a bad fucking dub. Like,
Yeah.
as much as I love the flashbacks, the dub was terrible. It was awful. And I can't do bad dubs. I hate them. It bugs the shit out of me. I'm looking at her. I'm like, that clearly not your voice, and the words aren't even matching up. It was bugging the piss out of me with Chucky and then Tiffany. So that was a spit for me.
Okay. See, I don't know. Like, if that's the one spit, then I'll agree. Then the bad dub probably, but everything else, I swallowed. The whole story and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't really spit too much of the flashback.
The connection to Eddie Caputo was very smart because it like when I first watched the season, I was just like, the name sounds like kind of familiar because like I hadn't watched the movies in so long, and then when I literally just rewatched everything, I was like, no fucking way. Like they really just like slide that in there so fast too, and like that's why he was kind of okay with getting Captain Hook's hand. It makes the most sense. That's probably like the biggest thing I'll swallow from the flashbacks is that connection because that leads us straight into the first movie basically.
I'm with you on that. I mean, we can talk a little bit. I'm actually gonna have you, Katie, talk about who Eddie Caputo is when we get into that. I'll cue you up. So, but I want to make you guys more part of the show. I don't want it to be me talking the whole time. The Gorgasm for me, like, as funny as it was a swallow. Like that, like having her stab this girl and then orgasm, and then all of a sudden now it's Tiffany's voice, even though I hated the bad dub, like that popped me, that made me laugh. That was really fucking funny to me. Also, like I said, all the stuff where you see like the psychological growth of a serial killer as a child and watching him grow and become and then find the love of his life, supposedly, leading up to how we start the first movie, and filling in all those questions and gaps that we had throughout the series, like how did Chucky and Tiffany meet, blah, blah, like big swallows there, and the kills are great.
Oh yeah,
for a show that's on USA, like the kills are fantastic.
I also forgot how many
it was pretty extreme
were dropped.
Oh yeah,
I was like, damn, on USA.
Oh, they gave none. They gave none.
Zero.
They gave none.
All right. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with the first Child's Play movie. Charles Lee Ray, as I said, is being chased by the cops, runs into a toy store, gets gunned down, decides, hey, I don't want to die, uses a voodoo curse to transport his soul into the body of a doll. That doll is then picked up by a single mom struggling to get along in Chicago. Mind you, I want to point out, shout out to Charles Lee Ray for realizing he was never going to get famous being in New Jersey and he had to go to Chicago to make a name for himself. Lakeshore Strangler, that's my boy. He knew. He knew. I'm just saying. Hackensack, New Jersey.
No, you're right. No,
Chicago.
No lie.
Lake Street Strangler or Lakeshore Strangler. But this doll is thrown out because it's part of a, like, I don't know how this is an evidence, but apparently it wasn't. They throw it away. This guy picks it up, and mom's like, well, I can't really afford a good guy doll, but this is all Andy wants. This is all he wants. So she's got to get one. So she buys one from some shady dude behind the store out of a shopping cart in an alley. brings it home to her kid, and it's fucking possessed. And then he drags this child from murder scene to murder scene. Who is Eddie Caputo, Katie?
So, okay. Eddie Caputo was the supposed getaway driver for Charles Lee Ray, whilst he's being chased in the beginning of the first movie. Eddie's like, God blast. He fucking leaves Charles. That's why Charles gets shot, dead. Chucky becomes a thing. And Chucky, not Charles Lee Ray, the doll, fucking blows up his house.
Yeah.
Like, and listen, Andy's just there.
All I'm saying is, if I were to commit a crime and one of you two bailed on me and left me there, and I somehow then was able to transfer my soul into that of a doll before I was murdered, but it was because you abandoned me, I'm blowing your houses up too. Like,
okay. I mean, I get it.
Revenge.
But like, don't be dragging.
Don't worry, Justin. I'll get
Andy
Char and the kids out. What?
Yeah. Like,
you crazy.
Don't bring like Andy there.
Well, so we find out that
I said you're crazy.
Chucky's voodoo curse.
Well, how else was he gonna get there?
I mean,
he can walk.
That doll gets place to place, and ain't nobody know how. So like,
yeah, but
he can make it there.
True. But he didn't have the CTA pass. You need the CTA pass, and they use a train. Clearly, Andy has a subscription to the Blue Line.
Andy's like what, 6?
Listen, 6-year-olds have.
Hey, I've seen 6-year-olds on the red line, the Blue Line.
I'm not from Chicago. I don't know.
Especially in the early 90s, this was not an issue.
Fair.
80s, 90s, yeah. No, kids just ran wild.
Oh yeah. Oh, 1000%.
So we find out when Chucky visits a voodoo priest that the curse of Dumbala that he used to transfer his soul into the doll gives him kind of a window to transfer his soul into someone else before he is permanently a doll. And it has to be the first person that he revealed himself to, which, oh fuck, it was a child. I also want to point out, so we find out in Curse of Chucky that he wanted a family and he wanted children, but he didn't, I guess, want them with Tiffany. Like, he wanted a ready-made family, which is why he kidnapped the Pierce family and tried to, and now he connects himself to a child. And as we go forward, there's a lot of connecting himself to children, and I'm a little concerned about his proclivities. That I believe that's what I always say that word wrong, and then I think about it. I'm like, I fucked that up. This time I did, but I almost said it wrong. Chucky's got a weird obsession with children, and I'm not like, I get that you're a doll, but also like,
well,
maybe
I mean,
pick an
it's
adult.
probably because like he didn't. I mean, clearly we saw his childhood. Shit was fucked. That's probably why he's got.
But he didn't have a bad home. Like, he was fucked up. His house was fine.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I don't know. The mind of a serial killer is crazy.
So now he's like, all right, shit, I've gotta perform this ritual and transfer my body or my soul into Andy's body and take over Andy's body. At this point, the cop that murdered Charles Lee Ray is kind of figuring out, hey, there's this kid that people keep seeing at all these crime scenes, and then his nanny was also murdered, and there's some shit going on, and he's got this doll, and he's putting 2 and 2 together, as is Andy's mom, which leads to them figuring out that Chucky's alive, and there's a whole showdown, and they kill Chucky.
Yes.
Andy's free. Any quick spits and swallows from the first Child's Play?
I have a big spit. Listen, as much as I love it, the voodoo spell is the most drawn out fucking thing you could ever do, and Chucky tries probably like 4 different times, at least in like the first 2 movies, to try and do it. But like that's
4
why
times,
when they get to Cult, it's so much
it's
better.
It's long
because like it's so long. It takes so long for you to even say it all. You don't even get the chance before someone comes and shoots you or stabs you. Like Chucky can never get it done because it's such a long spell to say.
Well, I think about Seed when they bring in the heart of Dumbala, which is just resting on Charlie Ray's rotting corpse in New Jersey, is when it kind of shortens a little bit and it fixes some of these issues, because now it was this heart of Dumbala that he was wearing that allowed him to do it in the first place, and it kind of helps with the time constraint issues that he has.
See, I kind of liked it though. I kind of like that it was long because it gave time for the hero to kind of like, you know, get saved. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like it being possessed real quick. You know. Jesus just said. I was just gonna say the elevator scene in the first one. That was pretty crazy. I also want to send a shout out to the Macy's store that the mom was working at. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? Macy's or Marshall Fields, whatever you know you want to call it. Yep, exactly. Shout out to the mom for also getting the Chucky on discount. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the mom for giving her child a possessed doll that dragged him from murder scene to murder scene.
I also will swallow. Now, hear me out. Yo, the babysitter was kind of a hoe. She was kind of a bitch to Andy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? The way she would treat her and the way she would talk. Like, so I kind of like, you know, I didn't mind if she got thrown out the window. Just hear me out, you know?
I'm in a different camp. I'm spitting Andy. Okay. Andy annoyed the fuck out of me this entire movie. He annoys the fuck out of me until he becomes a grown person. That is the most annoying fucking child. If I was Chucky, I would have stabbed him in the face and said, fuck it, I'm going to be a doll forever. Like, would not have put up with his bullshit. He was annoying as shit. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them kids. Andy annoyed the shit out of me. All right. Drove me crazy this entire movie. Like, I've never wanted a protagonist to get murdered so fast in my life.
Jesus Christ. What I'll say about Aunt Maggie, don't talk about Marty from Grease like that. Don't disrespect her. That is a great woman. And yeah, she was kind of a bitch because like she had to go watch a kid who wasn't hers, and she just kind of wanted to go out, and it's a single life. Like, you don't want to take care of your kid or someone else's kid, for that matter. Like, it's fine. I don't think she deserved to die that way. Yeah. But like,
I mean, listen, it's. I will also the car scene with the officer Mike. It was so funny because it was like 88, 89 that the first one came out. And you know, you had like special effects was so bare bones back then, right? So you remember the cop car is flipped over and you just see the little legs running around.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's one of the things I love about the first Child's Play is all the little legs.
Yeah, same here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then finding like the shoe prints of the doll in the flower.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. and then like the actor's supposed to be all scared and shit, like, oh, you know.
Are you telling me you wouldn't be terrified if you saw little legs just like running around a car after you flipped it?
I would be terrified.
Oh no, I would be too. I would be too. I'll be screaming just like him, like, oh, you know, just like that. But also there's a couple scenes in there where, like, you know, if you know the movie, they had to actually put a person in the suit, right?
Yeah.
So for the running scenes, right? So I just thought it was so funny when like they had the doll and you see the doll, it's it's kind of tiny, right? Like a big plush doll, and then you see it move. It's like a fucking 4-foot thing. Like, you're like, damn, what the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they could only do so much.
I know, but it was just
the animatronics of the doll. Yeah. So, like, actually, them using a little person to play Chucky in specific parts was kind of genius.
Yeah, no,
they do it for. I think they do it for Tiffany too.
I think. Well, I think they actually start using kids in the later movies.
They do use, and they use a kid in season 1 where Chucky runs to Tiffany.
Oh, okay. Because I thought those were all animatronics. Okay.
So my last spit is going to lead us into Chucky Part 2. The fact that after all of this, somehow this doll again is not put into fucking evidence Because the way we get Chucky 2 after this doll is charred and head blown off and all this shit is they melt it down and use the parts of this doll to just build a new Chucky. And apparently the way this whole voodoo curse works is new body, new time limit. So now he's got to go find Andy again and transfer his soul into Andy's body, but the clock's reset. Mind you, Andy is now living in a foster home because his mom was so freaked out from everything that happened. She changed her name and is now part of the cast of Seventh Heaven. She lied about who she was. She's got a bunch of kids now. It's a whole thing.
Oh my God.
So Andy gets picked up by this foster family who also has an older teenage girl by the name of Kyle who's living there, who has had some issues finding a home to stay in. And just so happens that, there's a Chucky doll in the house, which freaks Andy out because he's got problems and everyone thinks he's just crazy because he blamed a doll for murdering everyone. And I guess no one believed the cop or the mom either. Obviously, Chucky finds his way back to Andy, and then is just hunting and stalking Andy, murdering his foster family, teachers, and all of these things. And Andy, again, is getting blamed for all of this because now he has a history. Everywhere Andy goes, somebody dies. Yep. While this evil doll is trying to transfer its soul into his body. We end up at a good guy's factory, which one of the coolest fucking kill scenes ever.
Yeah,
with all of the fighting in the good guy factory and Chucky having all of the body parts stuck into him, his hand cut off. He took the knife and stuck it in. And at this point, he's becoming human. He's starting to bleed from the nose. And when you cut it off, like he's becoming more human now. So now he's more panicked and more rushed to do this. But Kyle is there with Andy to help protect him and keep him safe. Yeah. And eventually they defeat Chucky and allow the same thing to happen again. But we'll get into that. Spits and swallows from Child's Play 2.
Big swallow to Kyle. Like,
yes,
that was such a good addition because now you have someone who will believe Andy. Took her a little bit, but like believes Andy, witnesses all of this happening, like watches people get murdered. So like now she's in this shit with him. And that basically gave him a support system that he didn't have with his mom because his mom's not in this movie. So since Andy's still a kid, you need to give him someone to rely on. That's why you give him Kyle.
Someone had to raise Jessica Biel,
right,
in a godly, loving home.
Seventh Heaven was a terrible show.
Seventh Heaven.
The show sucked. I digress.
They should have paid more attention to the dad.
Stop. Having Kyle be the support system for Andy was very much smart because you have her being this like outcasty kind of kid. She's a teen. She's an angsty teen, and it's perfect. Yeah. Kyle is like one of my favorite characters throughout the entire franchise.
1000.
I'm spitting the foster parents. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. No.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about Kyle.
Yeah, I was just gonna add on to what Katie said. Kyle was one of my favorite characters in there. Actually, like, because I forgot how old I was. I think I was like 8 or something like that when the movie came out, and like I was like more attractive to women like that. So obviously, like, she kind of resembles like a Ray Ripley type of thing, like that rebel type of look, right? That vibe. Right. And she was like, if I had to like kind of like say what kind of character she was, she kind of like had like a Sarah Connor type of thing going on. You know what I'm saying? That was the kind of element that I thought about it, and yeah, she was just dope. And it is so good for Andy to have like a bodyguard because remember the opening scene where he gets in the bus, like that fucking kid just shoves the hell out of him. Like, motherfucker, I would have thrown my lunch, my thermos. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember the thermos back then, man? They were like fucking tin and shit. Yeah. I would have fucking clocked it. Come here, ho. I seen shit. You know what I'm saying? A fucking doll, you stabbed us. What do you think I'm gonna do to you?
I mean, Andy didn't really do anything but run and hide like a little bitch while his mom got beat up. And yeah, anyway, fuck Andy. Fuck little Andy. Big Andy, I like. I'm
We
spinning the
fucks with Big
Foster
Andy.
family. I
Yes.
fuck with Big Andy.
Yes.
How
Thank
are you
you.
going to take in kids and shit and then have all this breakable, priceless shit just laying around and
Uh-huh.
expect
Literally.
nothing to happen? And
Like-
the dad was a dick. Like the mom, kind of okay, but the dad was a dick the entire time.
Yeah, it's like the typical like stereotype of like a foster family though. Like the dad's kind of an asshole, but the mom's like a little less asshole-ish. She's a little more nurturing towards you, but like still a bitch, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they were clearly doing this just to like be like, oh, look what we did. We went out and foster a child because that's what we want to do. Shut up,
Children.
bitch.
It's horrible.
Yeah, shut up, ho. You just want this for clout. That's what you want, you know?
You want that for money.
Right. And then like the whole opening scene, the dad's like, are we even prepared to handle a thing like this?
Then why would you agree and take it?
Right. Yeah, get your
Like
Jose
clearly
Banks
y'all
out.
fucking weren't.
Right. And then who makes it? And this is the biggest swat. This is the biggest spit for me. Who gives a kid their first day at elementary school tuna fish?
That's disgusting. Television goes in general.
Deleted scenes are non-canon. I don't give a fuck about that, Benji.
Nah, I've never seen them. They don't exist.
There's a whole deleted scene where like Hulk in the Hulk Buster is arguing with Banner, and that's how they become smart Hulk, but it didn't fucking happen in the movie, so it didn't matter.
What?
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. It's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about. The other biggest swallow in this movie is obviously Chucky, because we get the Chucky that we know. Like we had Chucky in the last movie, but again, it was a lot of little feet running around and mostly just seeing him talk in certain scenes. We had like full on Chucky walking with the ruler, you know, getting parts cut off and all of these things. Like this was full on Chucky and Child's Play too.
This was one-liners Chucky.
Oh yes.
Yeah. This movie to me was like the whole scene in the factory too, when they're going through all the different railings and trying to hide, and like you say, he's got the ruler. Like I don't know about y'all, but like I kind of felt like this like was a play on Terminator 2. Did y'all feel like that? Like, you know, Sarah Connor was Kyle,
and you brought up Sarah Connor, so
John Connor was Andy, Team 1000 is Chucky. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I can see where you're going with that. I know,
you know,
that makes sense.
Right.
I can see that.
They were just trying to do like their own version of it too, because the first one was a lot more scarier. It's a lot more suspense. This one had like a lot more slasher type, you know, action. That's why I love this one. And then if you know, season 2, like the show picks like they kind of use this version of Chucky for their show.
Well, they use this version of Chucky pretty much going forward. Like once we get into the of Chucky's, there's a lot more comedy. And then we kind of get back out of that a little bit in The Curse and The Cult. But yeah, no, this is pretty much now. It's kind of like Freddy. Like in the first couple Nightmare on Elm Streets, Freddy wasn't Freddy. By Nightmare on Elm Street 3, we got that full one-liner Freddy, and that was the template for Freddy going forward.
And that's why 3 is like my second, like, the fucking, we talked about him.
Any other spits or swallows from Child's Play 2? Or, yes, 2.
No, I mean, like just said, like, the factory scene is one of the best ways to, like, end it. Because, like, the entire factory was so cool to see. And it had one of the coolest kills with the dude getting the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit.
Yeah. And then remember when they're trying to rebuild, the like toy technician gets electrocuted by the machine.
Yes.
In the beginning of the movie, you guys remember that? Okay, I just want to add. Thank you.
Which is the power of the voodoo curse and Chucky being reborn and all that. They fuck up again and again after all of this. We still melt down this weird, deformed, bloody pile of a doll into a vat of plastic and bring him back. But this time, it's years later because they shut down the Good Guy Factory. All this bad PR really fucked them up. And now they're like, you know what? It's been long enough. We're going to bring him back. Not just that. Andy is now a teenager and in military school. Chucky finds out very quickly what he should have figured out in the last movie, that new body means I haven't technically revealed myself to anyone yet, so I can pick a whole new person to jump into. And he decides for the first time of 2 times in the movie that he wants to be black this time. So he picks, we'll talk about it and see the Chucky. He specifically says he's always wanted to be black. There's a whole reference to it.
I remember.
With Redman. Anyway.
I remember.
So he picks Tyler, who is this another annoying. This
I will agree.
show is filled with annoying children. Very, very annoying children. Like, I think Fuck Them Kids came from the Child's Play series, but neither here nor there. So Chucky ships himself after killing the people that recreated him, and they're like, oh, bring the doll. Oh, it's alive, and it plays golf and does shit and kills people. Gets himself to military school, realizes, hey, I don't have to, I want to kill Andy because fuck Andy. Like, he really caused me some problems and he was annoying as shit, and I agree. But I don't need Andy. I can be younger and black, so I'm going to go with Tyler, who found me first. And he revealed himself to Tyler. So now he's spending the majority of the movie trying to get Andy killed while also transferring himself into the body of Tyler. Andy has PTSD every time he sees a good guy doll, for good reason, realizes that this is Chucky and why Chucky's there, tries to tell Tyler, but Tyler thinks he's got a new best friend, like my friend till the end. Like, this all reminds me, Katie, probably not so much, Damien by DMX. Justin.
Okay. Oh, the song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know how in a DMX is talking to his son, he's like, I've got a best friend. His name is D. And he's like, oh, you mean just like Chucky? Yeah, just like Chucky. Like, that's what this whole thing makes me think of. Neither here nor there. So this all takes place in the military school, but it ends up at a county fair.
Yeah.
Near the military school where Chucky, they finally convinced Tyler that Chucky is bad. Tyler is constantly complaining about Chucky swearing. Chucky's getting Tyler into trouble. Chucky has replaced paintball bullets with actual bullets and caused people to murder each other. Chucky is eviscerated by a giant fan.
Yes.
Just shredded to pieces at the end of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Spits and swallows from Child's Play 3, or anything that I may have left out that you guys think is important to talk about.
I mean, Tyler sucks. Like, even I think Don Mancini was just like, I wanted him to be like younger. Like, the kid they got to play Tyler was too old. Like, because I think the way he wrote Tyler,
he had a young voice.
Like, the way he wrote Tyler was supposed to be a younger kid.
Yeah.
But when they cast him, it was just the whole thing, which, like, that, I think that also, like, off-puts it. Because, like, and the way he's always just like, stop swearing, Charles. Like, first of all, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. You know his name. But Tyler, I think Tyler's way more annoying than Andy ever was as a kid.
Holy shit, Jesus.
Jesus.
Real quick. Yes and no. So Andy is the original kid that Chucky revealed himself to. Andy was much younger in both the first and second movie than Jake was. And he's older than Jake is in Child's Play 3 at this point. So
yeah.
Roughly. He feels older.
I think Jake's like 16. I think Andy's supposed to be like 16.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I'm gonna read this for everyone so you don't have to. I remember when I first watched 3, my dad came home with like this tent that you could set up over your bed. I set it up. It was late at night and I didn't feel like sleeping, so I watched TV and saw 3 was on, so I watched it. Then after I went to bed, I got freaked out by this tent because I just saw this movie that basically takes place in a military, even though it was like a boot camp, I think, LMAO. Sorry for the long story. And then yeah. You know, Tyler is a huge spit in this movie. I kind of like that Andy, you know, despite all of his issues, got himself a girlfriend, like swallowed the one of the two females in the entire place.
Literally.
She fine too.
That
She fine too.
You know, despite Andy being picked on relentlessly, found him cute and put up with him. I think her friend was hotter, but that's just me. Oh, okay. When they put makeup on the doll.
Yes. Yeah, in the was it the Colonel's office?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he confiscated
right?
Chucky
they
from
like
Tyler
snuck in
Tyler
there.
was fucking up.
Yes. And they put
why is that your
lipstick
first
all over the
instinct?
lips and all that.
What do you mean?
Like why? Like I get it. They're basically making fun of Tyler because he's playing with dolls. But like I don't think the makeup was necessary.
Well, I mean, I think it's because it's a doll and it's not like a Barbie.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
imagine that as a
picking
Barbie.
on
It's a
Tyler
big ass Barbie.
We will talk about sex dolls in a little bit.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll swallow something real quick. Yeah, the paintball scene I thought was pretty wild. And like how like he literally his small ass plastic hands replaced each one of them bullets with each one of those paintballs with a real bullet. Them little ass hands did it. You know what I'm saying? And then like what's it called? The barber scene. You know what I'm saying? Where,
yes.
Chucky kills the barber. I thought that was pretty wild. You know what I'm saying?
And that barber needed to go. That
called?
Barber was
very much so. Very much.
Oh, he needed to go. I was getting like creepy ass, you know, like molesty vibes from that guy. For real.
That's throughout the entire show. We've talked about this. From the Seventh Heaven connection to Charles's obsession with children to this guy, like everywhere.
Yes. I'm also swallowing the dude that sacrificed himself, knowing that it was a real grenade. Millhouse, real life Millhouse.
So mean.
I was thinking of I couldn't remember his name, but the kid from the Wonder Years, the friend.
Is that him, Paul?
No, it's not him, but
that's Paul.
I was thinking
but he looks like
Paul.
him. Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Pre-Marilyn Manson. Yep. And so like the whole scene there, and then for some reason there's a carnival. You know what I'm saying? And like the fact that the end scene is like in this like haunted roller coaster type of deal. You know what I'm saying? And then they have to push him and he lands in the fan. I thought that was dope. Also swallowing the intro of the movie where it takes place from part 2 and they show the blood spilling over the wax.
Mm-hmm.
You remember? And it just assembles Chucky's face.
Yes.
Come on, Benji. I know you like it.
But like I said, you keep making these mistakes. Like why are the police not collecting this as evidence for any of the things that are going on ever?
Yeah.
How is this not evidence until this movie?
Right.
This is the first movie where they're like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should take those doll parts and not.
Well, it's not like it stays evidence long anyways.
Well,
people keep stealing it.
Yeah. So let's talk Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky.
Oh, you know what else too?
Okay, what?
The other thing too, I don't know if you guys realized too, was like, remember when they pick up that like mountain, like that volcano of Chucky's where they're all like melted together? Didn't that remind you of Jake's room? Like the mountain of like dolls that he's like piecing together?
Kinda.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Do what you mean. All right, cool.
Shout out to Jesus, Benji, and Tim in the chat. Benji, I came to your house today. I visited, but you weren't there. I mean, I checked the entire zoo and could not find you. I spent all day at Brookfield Zoo looking for you. You were not there.
No, God.
Oh my.
So, Bride of Chucky is directed by Ronnie Yu, who also directs Freddy versus Jason. And this is the movie that made them decide, hey, this is the guy we want to do Freddy versus Jason. So there's that. This is kind of where we get a lot more comedy brought into the franchise. We get introduced to Tiffany on screen for the first time, played by one of my all-time crushes, Jennifer Tilly, who is fantastic in this movie. She seduces a cop, gets the cop to steal the evidence that is Chucky, murders him, takes it back to her house, and then with Voodoo for Dummies book, sews him together, pieces them back together, and revives the Chucky doll, only to find out something that clearly she should have realized after everything that we talked about that happened in Chicago. Chucky didn't really love her as much as she loved him. So then she puts him in a cage, and he gets out, and he murders her, and then he transfers her soul into a doll, and now they're both dolls. And he's like, well, hey, we got to get to New Jersey because the Heart of Dumbala's there, and it's the only way to really fix this shit, like, for real. So they get a young couple whose father is Jason, or not Jason Ritter. Jason Ritter was a son who was actually in Bride of Chucky. God, what the fuck's his actual name?
Oh God. Fuck. What is his name?
It's Ritter. He was in the
8 Simple Rules.
Yeah, for My Teenage Daughter.
Oh, I'm looking it up.
You look it up. So anyway, he's a cop. He's a dick. He doesn't want his niece dating. His niece lives with him. They're trying to run away together. Tiffany's like, hey, I need you to send this package, blah, blah, blah. Even though she's a doll now, they go on a cross-country road trip where Chucky and Tiffany are killing and fucking the entire way. And they're slowly like, yes, because the dolls are anatomically correct. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, voodoo semen is very potent. Let's just get that very clear. We're going to talk about that in a second. They're murdering all these people, and there's all this news coverage of Jesse and her boyfriend, Jesse and Jane, I believe, is their names. I think her name's Jane.
I think so. We pay attention to you guys. It's John Ritter. Holy shit.
Yes, John Ritter. Thank you, John.
God damn it, Benji.
No relation, by the way. TT's, not DD's. Double D's here. All day. So, just like Jennifer Tilly. So there's like this tension growing between them because now she thinks maybe he's the murderer and he thinks she's the murderer, and then they find out no, it's the fucking dolls that we've been driving, from one side of the country to the other, that are killing all of these people. There's the whole showdown at the end where Tiffany's trying to play homemaker and Chucky's a dick, and Tiffany gets kicked into an oven, which you should never do to a pregnant woman. I want to be very clear on that. Not that they knew she was pregnant.
Shouldn't do her this.
They get them to dig up the body. The Heart of Dumbala's there. They kill Chucky. They think they've killed Tiffany. And then at the very end of the movie, out pops from Tiffany's doll vagina this fucking alien looking demon creature that attacks the cop that's there trying to figure out what the fuck he just walked in on with dead dolls and corpses and all of this shit.
Yeah. I mean, guys, biggest swallow is Jennifer Tilly. I fucking love her. Everything about Tiffany makes the series going forward. She is probably better than Chucky in a few aspects. Like her doll makeover where she looks badass after the fact, taking that ugly ass wedding doll, making her,
which she got for Chucky.
She did,
because she thought Chucky got her an engagement ring and found out he just took it off of some chick he killed and it wasn't for her. That she got pissed. It was like, oh yeah, you don't want to commit? Well, here, have this then.
Like, go in the playpen, you get locked up. Here's your bride. But it's Tiffany and Jennifer Tilly is literally the best part of this movie, hands down. Jesse and Jane, whatever the fuck their names are, they suck. Yes. They're the worst part of this movie.
I really like their gay best friend though.
Yeah.
Until he dies, which that kill was so not expected. Because he's just like, well, one of you two fuckers killed Jane's uncle, and then the dolls just point guns. He books it. Boom. Roadkill.
So does that count as a kill for them? Because technically they didn't kill him. He just ran out into traffic.
That does not count as a kill for anybody.
He was running from them, right?
Yeah, but they didn't.
So kind of technically
I mean,
counts.
not really. I wouldn't give it to them, but that's just me.
What do you got, Justin?
Well, that's the one thing I will say that like I noticed that I started to notice from in this movie that kind of like they end up doing in the movies and part of the show is that like the whole body count thing. Like, you know, they you start realizing that they're kind of like counting the bodies, like without really, you know, saying that like, oh, I've killed this many. Like they start mentioning how many bodies that they've killed or how many people that they killed, which, you know, they start doing in the other shows. And I never realized that in the other how many people that they killed, you know, it just happened. I don't know what to really think about this movie, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
I fucking
Jennifer
love
Tilly.
this movie.
I love Brad Chucky.
Listen, I mean, as a fan of humor.
Go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say, as a fan of all kinds of humor, I appreciate the humor. You know, dark humor that they were trying to throw into this thing. Jennifer Tilly, obviously, you know, much respect to her. She can't do nothing wrong, really. Maybe it was the look of it just wasn't, you know, the look was a little bit more, you know, cartoony, scary. Does that make any sense or no?
It does.
Yeah, but
they kind of got away from like the horror aspect of the first three movies. You know what I'm saying? Like they went for more Adult Swim type.
I really love this movie,
which I don't mind. It's just that like, no, I know, I respect that.
And shout out to the sister of World.
I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying like it's
still talking.
Justin, listen, whatever ghost has absorbed your internet, I need you to get some sage. Get that demon out of your internet. Shout out to the sister of former WCW World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette, Alexis Arquette, who is the first kill that we see in this movie, I believe, from Chucky, who fakes that he is a murderer trying to get in Tiffany's pants, and then once Tiffany realizes the doll's back alive, she like seduces him and like tries to have a three-way with the doll and him, and then lets Chucky just like be the murderous psychopath that he is, ripping piercings and everything out from Alexis Arquette. Also, R.I.P. Alexis Arquette. So
yeah, R.I.P. But like, just like seeing someone get like body jewelry ripped out, I don't like it. The amount of times I'm almost ripped out my nose ring hurts like a bitch. So someone like fully ripping it out of your body, nope, I can't. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
The heebie-jeebies.
Yes, fuck you.
I get what you're saying, Justin. I do personally just really enjoy this movie. It like as a horror movie, I see it, but it's just a really fucking fun movie. And at this point, we've done so much with Chucky that this is kind of like a breath of fresh air.
True, true.
So, and speaking of a breath of fresh air, we then decide that we are going to continue the story with the seed of Chucky, literal seed of Chucky. We meet him as Shitface.
Which is so mean, by the way.
Poor doll that is being used as like a ventriloquist dummy in an act in the circus, who has the heart of Dumbala that he apparently somehow claimed for. Who raised this thing? Like, if Tiffany's dead and Chucky's dead, and it came like it's a baby, but I understand like it's a baby doll, and
wait, that's a good question. Who raises
before he gets to the circus, and who gave him the heart of Dumbala? Neither here nor there.
I got questions now.
Season two.
We wish. Well, maybe.
So anyway, he wants to revive his parents, and mind you, someone decided that it was a great idea to take the Chucky and Tiffany dolls and restore them and use them in movies as props. He performs the ritual that brings Chucky and Tiffany back to life, and then they start killing. He finds his parents. Tiffany and Chucky decide that they want to be famous now this time because they're in Hollywood. So Tiffany wants to be her favorite actress of all time, Jennifer Tilly. Go fucking figure. Chucky is trying to figure out who he's going to be, and settles on Redman because Redman is directing a movie about the Virgin Mary, and Jennifer Tilly wants to be the Virgin Mary. So they're like, I'm going to get them to have sex, and we're going to transfer ourselves into their bodies. Then Redman ends up dying. All the while, Chucky wants to keep killing, and Tiffany wants to settle down and have a family. And they are arguing about, so all of you people who have talked about how pro LGBTQIA plus that Chucky is, Chucky wanted to believe that his child was a boy and Tiffany a girl, and would not accept their choice throughout this entire movie. Well, we'll get there. Chucky ends up saying, fuck it, I just want to be a murderous doll. I'm infamous, like I'm getting away with a bunch of shit. I don't want to do it. And Tiffany's like, no, I need to be human and I want to raise a family, and blah, blah, blah. She also gets Chucky to jerk off into a turkey baster to impregnate Jennifer Tilly,
Yes.
which again, back to the voodoo semen, extremely potent and works very fast. Like there's something about voodoo semen. So Jennifer Tilly gets pregnant in like a night, has twins. Now Chucky and Tiffany are fighting each other because Chucky wants to kill and be a doll, and Tiffany wants to not kill and have a family, but realizes sometimes you have to kill to get to the point that she wants to be at. Tiffany ends up killing Chucky and successfully transferring her soul into that of the body of Jennifer Tilly, and also Glenn/Glenda, because they haven't figured out if it's a boy or a girl yet, into the twin children with red hair, even though Charles Lee Ray didn't have red hair, and I don't know how that worked, that were born, one girl and one boy, and it is the girl that has the murderous side that we saw in Glenda, and Glenn is the scared one that keeps pissing his pants. That is mommy's little boy. And then at the end of the movie, we find out Chucky's still alive. He mails body parts back to the house and starts choking his own child because his child's the one that killed him. All of these things. So, spits and swallows from Seed of Chucky.
First of all, what a movie.
I'll make mine short. When I watched this movie for the first time, I was like, oh my God, what the hell is going on in this movie? But what I will swallow is the whole evolution of the whole voodoo thing, right? Because like, unlike the other movies, it wasn't really explored, like, what can you do? Like, what else can you do with it, right? So obviously now that you can have children, you can have a family, you can jack off and have amazing, like, super cum, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I do like that aspect. However, I do have to kind of spit because, like, again, the comedy portion of it was very, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was funny, but it was kind of like, again, it was kind of like, you know, Adult Swim type, low-hanging fruit, you know, type of comedy. But I do like what they were trying to go for. I'll swallow that. Go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
I mean, I really liked the portrayal of Glenn and Glenda. It was interesting because, like, when was the last time you ever saw that, like, at that time? It was interesting to see because you have, like, it's also kind of just like dissociative identity disorder. It's like where you have multiple voices in your head, personalities. It used to be called multiple personality disorder, and then they changed it because that was offensive. I learned these things in school, I promise. So, like, it was a unique take on it because, yeah, you know, like, how a serial killer is made, murdering animals, all of these things. So seeing just this poor doll, doesn't know anything about themselves, DID, they don't know if they want to be a boy, they don't know if they want to be a girl. It was that part was actually kind of well done with Glenda, not Chucky and Tiffany's back and forth with it, but the portrayal of Glenda themselves.
Yeah, I agree. The first time I watched it, I kind of didn't like this movie. The more I've watched, the more I've enjoyed it. Again, for the same reasons I like Bride of Chucky, though, this is a little more out there than Bride of Chucky was. This got really fucking wild. But again, having Jennifer Tilly play herself, and also the fact that she decided the best way to get the role of the Virgin Mary was to fuck the director of the movie to get the role of a virgin.
That makes sense. Like, this movie like kind of sucks, but like it's funny. And like, again, it was a fantastic way to bring back Jennifer Tilly. The best.
Yeah.
Fucking love Jennifer Tilly.
And I loved her like British assistant too. And I felt really bad that she died.
Oh, Joan deserved so much better.
Joan deserves so much better. Do you guys have any other? I mean, the kills in this were fantastic and fun. The creepy paparazzi guy, John Waters, yeah, that they murder.
Red Man, Red
Waters.
Man. I know. Shut up.
Yeah, not Barbara Walters, not Barbara Walters. John Waters.
Shut up.
all that fun shit. Red Man cameo, like, yeah, no, it's a fun, stupid, silly fucking watch.
It's satire.
If you guys don't have anything else for Seed, I'm gonna wrap Cult and Curse up in one quick, so we can get to actual season 1 because we're already about an hour in.
Sounds about right.
All right, so the latest iteration of the movies of Chucky, we have now gone back. We've realized, as I talked about earlier, that there was this whole thing with Chucky and the Pierce family, which led to him being murdered, and Nika is paraplegic because Charles Lee Ray stabbed her mother in the stomach after kidnapping, all these things. So Chucky has now been mailed to Nika's house. He gets revenge on Nika's mom for, in his mind, because he still doesn't know Tiffany's done it yet, murdering or being the cause of his murder in Chicago. And also decides he's just going to off the rest of the family. After her death, Nika's jackass of a sister, their nanny, her husband, and their child all come to the house to check on Nika. The child falls in love with the doll, wants to take it, and then we slowly start seeing things in the family unfold and unravel because Nika's sister doesn't think she can take care of herself while she's more than capable of handling herself because she wants to sell the house to get money because they're broke and because the husband works at Starbucks and because she's fucking the nanny, though they lead you to believe that he's fucking the nanny through like most of the movie, and trick you. Nika finds out who Charles Lee Ray is because they're watching old like family films and sees this guy and then looks up the name because she connects it to the doll and sees the picture, and Chucky reveals himself and starts murdering everyone in the house. Nanny, priest with rat poison, all of these things, stabbing Nika in the leg. There's a whole showdown. A cop shows up at the end. Nika ends up taking the fall for murdering everyone in the house and the priest. And Chucky is then left on the table as evidence. And then the cop takes him and delivers him to Jennifer Tilly and gets killed again. And then in post-credit scenes, we see that Jennifer is the one that has apparently reconciled with Chucky and has been mailing him around. He mails him to Nika's niece's house, whose name is escaping, but I know I have it in my notes, but
Allison?
Yes. Alice.
Alice, yeah.
I was close.
Yes. Mails it to Alice. He possesses Alice, which we find out in Seed of Chucky, or Cult of Chucky. We'll talk about that. And also goes to Andy, and Andy cuts his head off, and then we find out has been keeping the severed head and torturing it to get information. We'll get into all that. Cult of Chucky takes place in the psychiatric ward that she is remanded to after this because someone believed that this paraplegic just murdered all of these people and they weren't able to fight back and somehow got away with it. Where there are creepy doctors with foot fetishes who are trying to have sex with patients. This is where we learn that Chucky has modified the curse so that he can transport himself into multiple dolls that are running around killing and doing things. But his ultimate goal, for whatever reason, is to transfer himself into Nika's body, which he does succeed. Andy also makes his return as a full-time character in this movie as an adult after torturing the head of Chucky and finding out the plan, goes there, fails to stop Chucky, and we end with Nika standing up because apparently, even though she has been stabbed and her spine has been severed, as long as Chucky thinks he can walk because he always knew how to walk, he's able to walk. But when Nika's in the body, she can't. Again, we'll talk about that in season 1. Comes out smoking a cigarette, hops in the car. Tiffany is now also a doll, and Jennifer Tilly. It's a whole thing. Spits and swallows from Cult and Curse.
I mean, we get Nika out of these 2 movies, and she's like, Nika's probably my favorite character overall, besides Jennifer Tilly.
Okay.
Jennifer Tilly just wins everything. But like, Nika being that strong, independent woman, literally, like, she can do 90% of the things by herself in a wheelchair. And the kills in Curse, I get very confused. Like the priest, you don't know where the rat poison. Like, they do like a roulette type shot. Like, you don't know who gets the poison. That was very smart.
And they fuck with you about the kid because she's like, this tastes funny. I don't feel good. Yeah.
It's so smart. And then that's when you see the priest start sweating. His kill was great because just this done. Because he gets into a car accident. That was a whole thing. But yeah, like, overall, Nika is like the biggest swallow from these 2 movies. Even in Cult, she's just like, I know some shit's going on, and I'm real sick and tired of no one believing me. And then becomes Chucky. And she gets to make out with Jennifer Tilly. That's not fair.
Listen, I'll talk about the weird dynamic there, but there was no one better to play Nika than Brad Dourif's. Justin, what is going on over there?
Somebody on a microphone?
What's up?
What's happening?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. That's why I have my mic off. That's why my microphone has been off.
Okay.
No. Okay, go. I'm sorry. Were you gonna say something?
Casting Brad Dourif's daughter
Bro
to play Nika was
Genius.
Creepy as fuck as we go on to talk about the whole dynamic of the relationships, but also fantastic because she's amazing. So I'm with you on that. She is the biggest swallow. I really also big swallow to the reveal of Chucky when Barb's up in the attic and she sees and she starts peeling away, and then the scars are all revealed because everyone's shit on the look of that doll. But then as you pull away the makeup and everything and you see the scars, it's like, oh, okay, we see where this is now. And
it was done on purpose, and that was like, and this in Curse brought it back to like its horror roots because everyone did shit on Bride and Seed. So they're like, it's too funny, but like now they made it horror again, and I love that about these movies.
You know what? Also, I will swallow. Also, is there's a scene in there where they go to Andy Barclay's place, right? And you see he's like living in some cabin, and like you get like little small like Easter eggs with that conversation. Him talking to his mom, then he's asking like how Mike is doing. So you see that like they stayed together, even though like everyone like was against them. You know what I'm saying? Like he still was able to. Huh?
Mike is just her friend from Church in Seventh Heaven. That's what that was.
Stop.
Like he found out she went and started a whole family and kept in touch, and that's something you didn't see at the end of the season finale of Seventh Heaven.
It literally can't stand it.
Well, hold on. You know what's funny is because Mike, because he's still an officer, was like, you know what your husband's into? Why don't we hook
Justin?
Hook
Stop.
So anyway, the Easter eggs.
Okay. So yeah, Easter eggs in there. He talks about like how like him and Mike are still together. So that's still a thing. He has a picture of Kyle in the room. They're still having contact in there. So like I do like that element. You know what I'm saying? Because like it fits so well into what goes on in season 1 of the show. That the thing that was kind of like was scary was that how he was keeping like the Chucky doll in a safe. Just so like he knows which doll is his, right? Is that what was the whole point of the whole reason why he
No. He was keeping in the safes because it's a fucking murderous doll, and also no one's ever believed him about this doll. So like, should anyone come over, it's a way the doll can't talk, can't hear any of that bullshit, can't, if he's trying to sleep, transfer his soul into his body using the curse, and it's hidden away, but also so it can't escape. Like I understand it's a head, but like the body could come and find that. Like it's
Also, the safe was his military school sweatshirt.
Yes, I remember that. They had the frame of his. Yep. Shout out to the barber who died in the house.
Did I hear y'all say doll? That's on you. I'm not from Chicago. It's not me.
I have no idea what he's talking about. So anyway, also, like I said, the whole transformation that Nika does when she becomes Chucky, and he is no longer a doll, he is now a human. That was really cool to see, like the switch in her, which I always find very interesting, because now she has to be this character that her father has made famous. She's not herself. She's not her character. She is now portraying the person that her dad made famous. So that was really cool for me.
She got that laugh down pat, man. It's crazy. Like, that's definitely his daughter. Like, you could tell. If you didn't, like, know any of that, like, if you never looked at actors and actresses or anything, you could just tell based off that laugh that she was his daughter.
Yeah.
Because, like, you don't expect a woman to laugh like that. And it just helps make her...
Try it.
No. It just helps make Nika, like... Or, like, Fiona herself, like, that much more interesting. Because she does have to go from Nika to Chucky, more so in season 1. But that's so... it's fucking genius. And no, I can't do the laugh, and I'm not going to.
I definitely can't. So, Justin, you want to give it a
try? Okay, that was horrible.
Sounded like a goat.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah. I think she does actually. I saw interviews. She does actually kind of laugh like that.
Anything else from Curse or Cult?
I like the scenes with the 3 Chucky dolls.
Yeah.
Because that shit was just funny. The one that gets the buzz cut from Andy, they're trying to decide who's going to go kill Andy. And then the one who lost an arm because he killed Madeline, the original Chucky, and then Buzz cut Chucky. Like, they're all fighting, and then Buzzcut's like, I don't, like, do you see my fucking hair? And they're like, oh, no, dude, go fuck him up. That's, you got it the worst. Go for it. Like, that whole scene was great. Sorry.
Justin, that was a dolphin going in shock. Yeah. All right. So let's get to the main reason why we are here. We're here to talk Chucky season 1. And there are essentially throughout the season, I figured out about 4 different stories going on at once. So you have the story of this young gay kid, Jake, who is really into art and is doing art with these dolls, whose dad doesn't really want to accept that he's gay, who has an asshole cousin who constantly pokes at the fact that he's gay, and he's trying to just like live his tortured teenage childhood. His cousin's girlfriend is a complete and total bitch and picks on him constantly. He ends up getting the Chucky doll at a garage sale, and Chucky completely ruins his life, his soon-to-be boyfriend / podcaster's life, and Lexi, the bitch who is dating his cousin's life as well, and then corrupts his cousin into killing before he redeems himself in the end. There is the story of Chucky, who has to corrupt an innocent so that he can split his soul into 72 pieces and start a Chucky army with the goal of sending them across the country to different hospitals to kids in need for some weird reason that is going on. And
yeah, I don't know. We don't know.
That's the whole thing.
That's crazy.
Then there is the story of Tiffany and Nika Chucky, who, by the way, dude, Nika Chucky and Tiffany, when we first see them in the hotel that they were staying in the flashbacks, when Yeah, where the first murder took place with them, where the gorgasm happened and the voice change. Oh, goddamn, Fiona, goddamn.
Bro, literally.
Tiffany realizes that when Nika sees blood, when Chucky sees blood, he transfers back to Nika, and then when it's Nika, he's paralyzed. And she decides that Chucky's kind of an asshole and she doesn't really like him anyway. And she wants to keep Nika as Chucky, but keeps knocking Nika out and doesn't realize when she does that, Chucky is able to take back control, slowly figuring that whole thing out as they go. And then cuts off her arms and legs so she can't leave. Even though she's paraplegic in the very end.
But she cuts her arms too.
And then the fourth story being what we already talked about, the whole backstory leading up to everything that we missed in the movie to get to Child's Play. So, spits and swallows from season 1 of... Oh, real quick thing. I was telling my wife how season 2 is coming out and Devon Sawa is going to play a third character in the series. And she thought I was talking, like she heard what I said, but she thought I was talking about JoJo Siwa and was very confused when I was explaining that JoJo Siwa in her mind was the father of this kid and the uncle of this kid and going to play a male priest. Just very lost as to how that translated. She's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, you know the guy from Final Destination." She goes, "Oh, okay, no, I thought you were talking about JoJo Siwa." And I'm like, "No, completely different person," and gave me permission to mention.
Yeah, that's Casper.
So. I love her. Yeah, that is Casper.
Yeah, Casper.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, let's get into our spits and swallows from season 1.
I'm spitting Lexi's mom.
Oh yeah.
She's a cunt. Point blank period. I don't care. Like that woman deserved to die, and the fact that she did not pisses me off. Like Lexi's dad dies.
That is my biggest spit.
Well, because it was. Well, I mean, they probably could have got away with it.
Now my biggest spit.
The fact that Jennifer offered to be nude for the show and Dalmatian, he said no.
If you have not seen Bound, which Jennifer talks about in multiple movies.
Which apparently the actress she's in Bound with is making a cameo in this season.
Gina Gershon.
Yes. I couldn't remember her name.
Gina Gershon.
But like they literally reference Bound so much in the movies and the TV show. They kind of were just like, I think we have to bring her in for something.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm actually kind of offended that happened now. What the fuck? Yeah, Lexi's mom. Fuck her. Definitely deserved to die. Not her dad. Her dad was just trying his best.
You know what my first
was he
spit
though?
is.
I mean,
I know. I mean, definitely towards the end when he was just like, when her mom was basically just like, I'm gonna use all of this money from the taxpayers because she was the mayor. I'm gonna rebuild my house. You're gonna do a damn thing about it. And like, I mean, literally yelled at Lexi any chance she could. Lexi breathed and she yelled at her. I'm not saying Lexi's an angel in any way, shape, or form, which Matt will get into. But like, damn, you ain't gotta go down her neck like that. So when her dad's just like, no, go ahead.
Finish.
Like when the fact that her dad was like, mayor or mom, you can't be both. And then she basically was just like, well, I'm gonna be the mayor. Fuck it. I don't want kids at this point. And then her dad, that was so sad. Like that one sucked.
Yeah, anal. The hard way.
Yes.
In a movie theater. Not by Pee Wee Herman. So my biggest spit is the fact that Lexi fucking lived. I waited this entire season to watch Lexi die. And in my eyes, I don't want her in season 2. Like, first off, she is the sister of an actress whose name I can't remember, but she Natalie Allen Lynn. Also, Lexi's mom is actually her real life mom. The actress's real life mom.
No way.
Their whole family, it's an entire family of actors. Her older sister Natalie was in the Fox show that was kind of about the X-Men, but not really. And its name is slipping me.
Okay.
God dang it!
I know you're talking about
a couple years ago. But anyway, she was in that, and now this is her little sister. So yeah, no, she dressed up as his fucking dad at a Halloween party.
Yes.
As he's getting shocked to death. Like that was her Halloween costume, was like how his dad died, because she got made fun of by a ventriloquist act, and I'm just supposed to accept.
Right.
Yes, Runaways, thank you. Or no, it was The Gifted. Runaways was the Hulu show. Yes, it was The Gifted.
Yeah.
I don't believe in redemption for that character that quick. Like,
Same.
fuck that. I needed Lexi to die. She's in season 2 now, and I'm kind of upset about it. So
maybe she'll die in season 2.
She was awful. And as shitty as her mom was, there was no reason for her to be that awful of a person. Even like when they're like, you need to go apologize. She's like, I'm not going to go apologize. Like, why would I go apologize? I didn't do anything wrong. Like, fuck you. You did. You dressed up as his dead father at a Halloween party and then invited him to the party so you could embarrass him in front of everyone because a doll outed you for cheating on your boyfriend with one of his friends. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I have a feeling one of the three is going to die this season.
And I don't want it. I hope so.
Same.
Can't be Devin.
No.
Can't be Jake.
No,
if it's Devin, I'm throwing something.
Devin almost died in this season.
They all almost died this season.
Devin went on.
I have to agree with Matt.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I definitely hated that character, and even before the whole part where she impersonates the dad at the party, the part where she's like, basically like picking on Jake for no reason. She starts that charity fund, remember? The GoFundMe on her phone. Right? Like, what a fucking bitch, you know? And then like the whole scene where the teacher's trying to teach her a lesson and she's just trying to one up her just because who her mom's is in fucking yoga class. Like, yeah, no, fuck you, ho. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted that to be the first kill. Like, not for her to extend this thing. Like, I wish that it would have been a better story arc if she burned in the house, you know, while they're all fucking like, you know, doing the silent, you know, whatever the kids do these days. Yeah. So I hate it. I definitely hated that.
Oh, you mean the silent rave?
Yeah.
Oh God, dude,
the fact that those are really a thing is.
Yeah, something. I know, right? I know. It's like so dumb. Well, I mean, if you do it, okay, whatever. But
no, you're being
judged. The one swallow I will say is I mean, shout out to maids, but how the maid got killed, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the dishwasher. That was pretty wild. Cause it was just like it came out of nowhere, just like boom, here. Oh, you know. And then I definitely will swallow fucking the cousin's house, man. That house was dope.
That house was nice.
That house was nice. But why would you be talking shit about the kid in that little fucking nook? Like, oh yeah, nobody can hear us. Like, nah, we can definitely hear you.
So, listen, his cousin Junior.
Oh yeah, he was a punk. He
was kind of an asshole to Jake. He was. However, he was forced to live out his father's dream. He finds out that his mother's basically dead from cancer and hasn't told anybody. And by the way, the mother was played by Lexa Duig, who is the main character in Jason X.
Oh my God, that's why she looked so familiar. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You mean
also Jojo Siwa is playing his uncle and his father, so there's that. But it's Junior that ends up killing his own father, which is the innocent that is corrupted that allows Chucky to split his body into all of these different dolls and set it. And then at the end realizes when, you know, because he thinks like his girlfriend is now broke up with him and is hanging out with his loser cousin who he technically broke up with her because he's got all the shit going on and she doesn't care because she's absorbed and he doesn't know that there's an evil doll. And then he finds out and he makes friends with the evil doll and the evil doll gets him to kill his dad and all of this stuff. but he ends up deciding not to side with evil and gets killed to save Lexi, who he kind of reunited with, and all of that at the end of the show. So shout out to Junior. That is a redemption arc I will accept.
Benji. I will say one of the coolest parts about Junior killing his dad was the way they shot it, because he hits him once and then the camera just like tilts a little bit. I'm such a sucker for like good cinematography like that, and this show does it really well, especially with that whole scene. And then the camera angle of like you get Chucky's like just him going up and down as Junior's literally beating his dad to death, and Chucky's just enjoying the hell out of it. He's just like, we like it's so good how they shot that. And yeah, I mean, Junior definitely was a dick, for sure.
Yep.
It would have been interesting if they killed Lexi and Junior survived. Like, they, like, kind of, like, at that end part, like, Junior's the one who is saved and Lexi gets stabbed or something. I don't know. Like I said, I think if one of the three is going to die, which I think they will, I think it's going to be Lexi, or it's going to, like, she'll just be severely hurt.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Go ahead, Justin.
I was going to say the scene in the theater, I thought it was pretty crazy. With the knives, you know what I'm saying, coming through the seat. It was kind of a callback from the first movie. Remember in the first movie when he was like stabbing the cop, Officer Mike, through the seat? So I thought that was pretty crazy. Yeah. The fact that they were watching Frankenstein, right? It was Frankenstein. Yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy too. Yeah, I mean the first that first season was really, really wild. I mean the flashbacks, you know what I'm saying? I'll definitely spit. I'm gonna swallow the little sister's obsession with Chucky. Bro. And how the parents were like okay with it.
So there was
like there's that. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like she was on the spectrum. There was something
There's something.
She was extremely, like, they were very attentive to her needs and her thoughts. She was very artistic. She didn't like to be touched. So I feel like she was somewhere
there was
off the spectrum or something.
There was something. There had, and they never like fully said it, but
right.
If you know people who are on the spectrum, there are definitely some key signs about that. Like she wanted a blanket or sunglasses before like the obsession with Chucky, and like that's what her parents were talking about when she's like kind of freaking out in the hallway. Like, get her sunglasses. I don't know where they are. Get that blanket. And then the obsession with Chucky, it's a fixation thing. And even at the end, she's just like, I don't give a fuck about this doll. Yo, my dad died? Fuck this. Like, right. She was sitting right next to her dad.
Yeah, I know why. And then she didn't even bother to... Okay, I mean, now that, you mention it, okay,
she was
I can kind of see it.
Fixated on the movie.
Right.
She wasn't
paying
attention
I can
kind of
see what you're saying now.
She was talking to a doll who was talking about murdering and doing all these things. Again, another one who was not a fan of Chucky swearing, which was my biggest swallow, was how uncensored this entire show was on USA. From the kills to the profanity. Unfortunately, no Jennifer Tilly nudity, but it is what it is.
So mad. He's doing
the kills in that theater scene, which really racked up the body count near the end, was fantastic, including Junior behind the scenes, because now we've got multiple Chuckies. Like, the army is alive. There's the original Chucky, and then there's or not technically the original, because the original Chucky got burnt in the fire, and then she didn't want him anymore, so they got a new Chucky doll that Jake hijacked from a UPS salesman that was being delivered to join the army, and ends up with her anyway. So, well, no, Jake ends up having that one. That one's brought to life.
Yeah.
She is.
Her dad just like buys one off like eBay or something.
Yeah,
that's Tommy.
Right.
And then
Tommy, there you go.
Chucky transfers into Tommy.
Yeah.
Jake brings the doll that he basically bribed a UPS guy not to deliver back to their lives. And then when Junior finally kills his dad. That doll's activated somehow without any contact. So apparently Chucky did some like he emailed the curse or some shit to the person. I don't know how that. But everything that's going on, and then the way that they kill the Chucky dolls in the theater. Also, fucking Andy. So
yeah,
Andy,
I was just gonna get there. Okay, go ahead.
And Kyle, their whole story. I think that's actually the fourth story that I missed out on that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if I mentioned it or not.
No, not yet.
Well, no, because I threw in the backstory, but I
yeah.
wasn't really going to count that. So Andy and Kyle are together hanging out, just like hunting down Chucky dolls and killing them. And they're like, all right, so there's 3 left. There's this one Chucky doll that I found out is in Hackensack, New Jersey. There is then a little girl that's possessed by Chucky and a paraplegic that is possessed by Chucky.
Right.
So we've kind of got to kill a doll and 2 actual people. One of them's a child. We'll talk about that. Because we still haven't seen her yet, and we don't know where Glenn and Glenda are yet.
Right.
Yes. Well, we got like a glimpse of them in the preview for season 2.
Yes.
See, I stayed away from all that because I just want to just full blown go into, you know what I mean?
I didn't like expect it to kind of show up.
Okay.
Like I've avoided like the rest of like the Halloween Ends trailers. I saw like the first one, but like I'm trying to avoid those at all costs.
Yep.
But I literally heard Jennifer Tilly go, Glenda. I was like, fuck.
Ah, damn.
I was like, God damn it, Jennifer Tilly.
And Jennifer Tilly is also herself as a celebrity who's here doing things, and then also bought Chucky's childhood home for her and Nika to live in.
Yes. Yep.
Which was
the
all
car. She gets the car, right?
Exploded.
Yeah, she steals the car. Yes, the house did get blown up with Kyle and Andy inside, but Andy survived, and so did Devin, and we weren't sure if Devin got out.
Well, I mean, at the end when they're at the cemetery, thank you. You see a gloved hand touch the tree, which makes you assume it's Kyle, and Kyle also survived. But then the like news report thing that Lexi tells Jake to check his phone, it says fatalities reported.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's why I'm just like, I don't actually know if Kyle died, and if Kyle dies just in that explosion, I'm gonna be a little fucking pissed off.
See,
well, who else would have been in that house?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
There were fatalities, because if Devin got out and Andy got out and Kyle got out,
like, was there just a body hiding somewhere?
Was there like dolls there too? Wasn't there like
well, no, all the dolls I think were
they all in that bus?
Yeah,
I think they like got them loaded up in the truck. Yeah,
I don't think dolls would count as fatalities.
No, but then like, you know how like it could look like a baby, so like what if it's like all burnt up, so like what if they're just like assuming, you know what I'm saying? I know that's kind of crazy, but I'm just saying, you know, like
there was a house full of babies that blew up. No parents were around, just a house full of babies.
What the fuck?
Listen,
I mean, the one Chucky doll was decapitated, but that's
there you
really
go.
It.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if they're like
they're
not sure if it's a human head or not, so they're like, oh, fatality.
I don't think so. Oh,
yeah, exactly, Jesus. Also, because we didn't really talk about him much, but Devin having this Hackensack, New Jersey crime investigation podcast, because his mom is a cop, and poor mom gets killed, which breaks Devin. Devin ends up kind of breaking up with Jake after they finally kind of admitted to each other that they were gay and they were going to be together, and his mom found out that he, like, even though your dad was a dick and didn't like it, my mom's kind of cool with it and accepts me for who I am, and she knows that you're not crazy now, and like you're not a murderer, so like there's this whole thing. We're gonna be cool and we're gonna go out on dates and do shit. And then mom dies, and it's like, fuck this, I gotta get out of here. But before that, he decides to go kind of figure out what's going on and goes to Chucky's childhood home, Charles Lee Ray's childhood home, where he runs afoul of Tiffany and Nika, possessed by Chucky. And Nika possessed by Chucky and gets kidnapped and tied up and all of these things. But Devin was fantastic this entire show. There's even the arc with Lexi where, again, after the house fire and the guy that she was cheating on her boyfriend with got stabbed and murdered, she finds out that Chucky is a real doll that tried to kill her, and she's kind of pissed at Jake because Jake told Chucky to kill her, but realizes no one's going to believe her anyway, so then she makes friends with the kid that she's been bullying forever.
Yeah. I mean, no one else is going to believe her, and I will say probably one of the best things about the show is Devin and Jake's relationship, because that shit's just so cute. I was all about it.
We deal with autism, we deal with coming out as being gay, and a lot of shit. And then obviously there was the trans stuff that was in Seed of Chucky that wasn't necessarily dealt with the best, but neither here nor there. We got season 2 to we got season 2.
See, that's what I kind of really liked about this this version of of Chucky. It's kind of like, it's Chucky. It's about the doll and everything, you know, but it's also dealing with like other real world problems, like not problems, but issues. You know what I'm saying?
Horror's always done that.
Yep.
Has it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know what they were doing in Jaws, but
not every single horror movie does it, but one of the big arguments is like, oh, I hate all these new horror movies because they're so woke and blah, blah, blah. And people don't realize like a lot of, especially like Vincent Price and all those guys and a lot of like that, all of that dealt with homosexuality and different things. And there's a lot of social issues. If you look at the women's empowerment movement in horror movies alone, because it is normally mostly always a woman who survives, who is the final girl, despite the fact that they don't get equal pay and in parts of the country don't have equal rights, and all this stuff. Like horror movies deal with social issues and have always dealt with social issues. It's just whether or not you either A, want to accept it, or B, it was in your face enough to where you had to accept it, or if you were smart enough to figure it out. So
that's what I love about the season. So it's definitely dope.
I'm about it.
Is there anything from this season that we didn't kind of cover or mention?
I do want to mention that the actress that plays Lexi's mom, Barbara Allen Woods, is from Hinsdale. So shout out. That's my home area, Darien. And so she went to Hinsdale South and ate at Teddy Red Hot's, which is like not far from where I grew up, and she was in One Tree Hill as well.
And is the real life mother of Lexi.
Yep.
In real life.
That fucking blows my mind. Did we talk about Aunt Bree's death? Because that was too far.
Oh,
like,
swallow it? Yes. I mean,
Chucky ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that one hurt me the most. Because I was like, Bree finally, like, told her family, like, she's high-key dying.
They made it seem like she was cheating, and then you find out, no, it's cancer, and she hasn't told anyone. And
literally.
Then he kills her and makes them think that their mom committed suicide.
Like, Chucky took it a little too far with that one, not gonna lie. And the fact that she lands on the car, face in windshield, in front of Junior.
No wonder he was
That's why, literally what I was gonna say. That's why the kid fucking murders his dad. And then you have Jennifer Tilly coming over and just kissing his dad for no reason.
Oh yeah, no, Jennifer Tilly's just showing up at the funeral, kissing dad, stopping by the house, planting seeds, because she's doing all of Chucky's work. Like she's she knows what the plan is. She's helping push the plan along. And it's like, well, I need this guy to kill somebody. Here's some things I did. Maybe go flirt with his dad and make him think that his dad was cheating on his mom.
Right.
Yep.
One of my favorite scenes was the talent show, though, where Chucky spoke and Jake figured out what the fuck was going on for the first time, because he got contacted by Andy after buying it, and Andy's like, have you checked for the batteries and that? And then it took him a while to check, but then he got rid of the doll because his dad didn't want to play with dolls anymore, and now the doll's back, and it's sticking up for him. And at first, Chucky, because he had ulterior motives, was kind of acting like, listen, I've got a trans kid, I support LGBTQ, like, Your dad was a dick. He deserved to die because he didn't accept you for who you were. I'll accept you. I just need you to murder some people for me. Like, let's get on this kill train.
A little thing. A little while you're dead.
Was there anything else from this first season you guys want to touch on that we didn't talk about?
I will just mention also the intros for all the episodes. They all had different like fonts for each one. So I thought that was really
went
cool.
with the theme of the episode.
Right,
like
exactly.
when the house burned down, or part of the house burned down, the Chucky was like on fire, and I love
the
when shows do
needles
that
in
shit.
the hospital. Which
the needle, yes.
Chucky
God,
loves hospitals.
That took me back to the in Saw where the chick has to find the keys.
Oh
in
God!
The, oh,
Yeah.
dude!
Yeah.
God!
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. What do you guys expect or hope to see in the new season? For me, clearly Lexi dead, gone, bye-bye.
Lexi dead.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Kyle and Andy, they got to be there, right?
Well, we
At least Andy.
Kyle's actually alive.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We're hoping Kyle's actually alive.
Tyler from Part 3 will show up to help them.
If Tyler shows up,
listen, Andy was tolerable as an adult. Tyler might be tolerable as an adult too.
I'm just like, I don't know what I'll do. I'll just be like, it's going like, if they're just like, oh my God, Tyler, I'll be like, what? Of all movies to reference again?
like all of a sudden there'll be some scene and like I gotta call in the big guns. Tyler, are you ready?
To answer Jesus's question real quick, so Chucky was working on a curse to split his soul into the bodies of all these different dolls, create a Chucky army to send out to hospitals and all these things. And to do so and to make the curse work, he had to get an innocent to commit an act of murder. So that's why he was trying to convince all of these children, whether it was Lexi's little sister or Jake or Lexi or Junior, to kill somebody. Because if he could get an innocent to commit an act of murder, then his soul would split into all these pieces and all these dolls would come to life. And yeah, with just doll Horcruxes everywhere.
Yes.
Dude, that was such a good connection. Yes. Just like
Thank
that.
You.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. That makes so much sense now.
I don't know what else I would want.
Glenn and Glenda.
Well, yeah. I need to see like.
Would you want that right away, or do you want them to save that towards the end?
I just need it in season 2. I'm not going to say when I need it.
We're getting it in season 2. I don't know to what extent we're getting it. But I am excited to see how that plays out. Also, with Nika literally having no limbs now, how the fuck does that play out? Oh, damn it!
That's gonna be a chair for
Jennifer
good.
Tilly. Like the shit. Like I don't know. Like, does Nika die to finally get rid of Chucky?
She might make the play.
Because Andy had no hesitation to shoot her ass and fucking Colt if he had ammo.
Also, we have to figure out what's going on with Andy, because right now Andy is held hostage by the Tiffany doll to go complete the mission, because he was going to drive all the dolls into the ocean and probably kill himself in the process. Mission done. Not going to happen. Though it's not done because Nika's still alive. And Alice, so we have to find out what the fuck's going on with Alice and what Alice is like with her. Chucky inside her.
Are you talking about Nika's niece?
Yeah, yes. The niece, yeah.
They said she died.
I don't remember them saying she died.
In Cult, when... Hold on.
No, they told Nika that she died in Cult, but she is not dead.
No.
Chucky possessed her.
Oh, that's
right.
They mentioned
it. They mentioned that in this season. I know it's very confusing.
I think it's because I binged it all. And there's a lot happening.
They tried to fuck with Nika and tell Nika that Alice is dead. And yeah.
Well, yeah, because even Jennifer Tilly is like, which Jennifer Tilly? Just I want every scene with Jennifer Tilly.
for goose.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I do have a question for you all.
Okay.
Would they try to connect the reboot version?
No.
Probably.
There's no way to do it.
I didn't even watch.
Okay, but hear me out. What if they decide to have that part of the storyline in the show? Like, what if they say like, "Oh, we're gonna update the Chucky doll. We're gonna have it be AI."
I mean, they could do that, but the issue with the Child's Play reboot was there was no serial killer's soul transferred into the body of a doll. It was just a malfunctioning doll that some dude took all of the safety protocols off, and that again was another thing about how we let AI and computers and everything do everything for us and control our lives, much like Terminator 2, which you brought up earlier, and the issues with that whole thing. So again, there is no Charles Lee Ray in that doll, so I don't know how. I mean, they could like give Chucky Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or something and maybe have Chucky possess an Alexa, I guess, and control the house. But
so does that mean if someone, say Chucky puts his soul into an Alexa, does that mean Mark Hamill becomes the voice of the Alexa? Because Mark Hamill's the voice of Chucky in the reboot.
Hey,
listen. I love me some Mark Hamill.
Voodoo Cum is powerful. Voodoo Cum is potent. Voodoo Cum is potent.
Will you stop?
They came together, did they, Jesus? All at the same time.
Okay. Crazy.
I will give this: if it wasn't called Child's Play, if it was just called Buddy, and you didn't look at it in the scope of a Child's Play movie, that reboot would have been a fantastic movie. I think a lot of the issues people had with it was because it was called Child's Play and it didn't have Charles Lee Ray and the voodoo and all of that. But the movie itself was a great movie outside of that. And if they named it anything else, I think it would have come off a lot better. We're close to 2 hours, so last thoughts. I mean, obviously, we all love the season, so like, there's no spit or swallow the season. Blah blah blah. Last thoughts before we plug everyone's shit.
Justin?
No, I can't wait for season 2. I mean, the show definitely like reignited my love for Chucky, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna do the same thing in season 2. So let's go.
I mean, I literally said I'm skipping the last hour of Dynamite to watch Chucky. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I've been waiting for this show to come back. I don't give a flying fuck.
And there's so much good shit between season 2 of Chucky, the new Hellraiser movie, which drops 3 days from now, 2 for Katie, and then Halloween Ends this month as well. A lot of horror franchise goodness coming our way, and I cannot wait. Thank you both for joining me for the very first episode of Horror Bites. I don't honestly know what this is going to be, guys. Like, this might not be what every episode is like. I don't know how frequent it is going to be. Probably at least once a month, maybe twice. All of that we'll figure out, but I hope everyone enjoyed it and all of the talk about voodoo, semen, and sex dolls. Katie, please plug yourself. Not with a butcher knife.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at KatieRaslin13. Link to about to all things She Leads Showcase, twitch.tv/She Leads Showcase. Typically Thursdays, 6 p.m., except tomorrow we're going right after Dynamite. Well, I'm sorry, right after Chucky. YouTube.com/She Leads Showcase, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Inside the Mind of, which I slacked. I fucked up. There was not a new one. That's 100% on me. But when the one for Halloween comes out, y'all ain't gonna be ready. It's a time. It's the shortest interview I've done, but boy, oh boy, were things said that no one can take back, and the world will know.
Yes.
But I'm on Matt's show, Smacking Around, every week, so you can find me there if you can't find me on my own channel.
Get Yo?
Yes, you can find me on Get Yo Podcast on the Instagram, Get Yo Podcast on the Twitter. If you can't find me there, I'm usually featured on Marks and Mikes. They just dropped an episode on YouTube. You can check it out. I'm pretty sure the audio is coming up too. Me and Jizzy are going to be doing Lichon Diaries. We're going to be doing that tomorrow, so look out for the new episodes for that. If you want to re-listen to another Get Yo episode, which I did with President Tiffany and our girl Katie, where we discuss wrestling beauty products. And Matt, I also got a shout out to Brainbuster Boys for your episode. You watched New Japan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was dope. So shout out to them and shout out to everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? K2 Hase. It's also Filipino American Heritage Month, so give me a shout out.
Shout out to Justin for Filipino American Heritage Month. If you guys are watching this as a horror fan and you aren't familiar with any of us, we all have wrestling podcasts as well. Mine themed much like this, Getting Off, Smacking It Raw. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Rithers, at MATTRIDDER, or at Getting Off on Twitter. Creation World is the banner on which the Smacking It Raw and Getting Off podcast now exist. You can follow them at creationworld.com, on Twitter and Instagram. It's Creation World, ITSCREATIA World. Facebook.com/Creation World. There's also a Facebook group for Smacking It Raw. Facebook.com/group/Smacking It Raw. Come check out all of our stuff. I really hope you guys had a good time. You guys come back. Thank you guys both again for being here. Like I said, we will figure out how often we're going to do this and kind of what the show. It's just going to be horror going forward, all things horror. I've got a few ideas. Not every show is going to be like this. So if you enjoyed this, let me know. If we got anything wrong, hit me up at Getting Off and tell me how fucking stupid I am. I have no issues being corrected. And I know people on the internet love to do that. So other than that, for Miss Katie Kinsey Bay and my boy Juss, I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Mad Ritter. This has been the #1 horror podcast on Pornhub, Getting Offed. And we're back.
I love that theme. I
do too.
Love that.
He killed it.
He really did. Like, he ain't gotta go that hard. And he does every time.
And I meant to mention and give props to him and Jizzy and Vince, because the house that is in our logo, for everyone that's still watching and still here, the house was designed by Jizzy. The logo was then with that house put together by Vince to make that, as well as the background, the intro video, and then the beat, obviously, by Jalen, which I will plug episode 2, everyone, and thank them for all the hard work they put in. But yeah, a lot of people helped me get the look of this show together, and then you two obviously helping me with the very first episode. So thank you both. Even though Justin needs to call the Ghostbusters to get whatever the fuck is going on with his internet, which seems fine now, apparently.
Apologies. My bad, guys. My bad. I need to be like Doc Brown and go to the top and be like.
He usually gets good internet throughout the whole show, or it's shit 90% of the show, and then it's fine after the fact. There's no in betweens.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, y'all. My bad. I mean,
you did your best.
Yeah, I mean the show. I mean, you guys still carried the show. I mean, without me, it was still good. I mean,
I don't know what this "you guys" is. You see the man over here? He did.
Yeah, I know, Matt, dude. I like this.
What really surprised me was I didn't really use my notes at all for any of that.
I
didn't look at my phone. All of that was off the top of my head.
I could tell.
Yeah,
in a good way.
How many times have you seen the See, Cult, Curse, Bride? Have you seen that more than the original 3?
Bride more than the original. I think Bride is the one I probably watched the most. I've seen Cult. See, I just rewatched Cult maybe a few months ago, and I just rewatched Curse the other day because I had questions about. I remembered that Nika's mom got stabbed, and he kind of made it seem like she called the cops. And then I heard Tiffany, when I rewatched season 1, say that she's the one that called the cops. And I was like, I need to kind of figure this out. But it was just kind of like they alluded to the fact that he thinks she called the cops, and that's why he did all this. But it was actually Tiffany. It was never like her admitting that she was the one. It was just his assumptions. So I checked all that out. So Curse and season 1 were very fresh in my mind. Cult, I've watched twice, I think. Seed, a handful of times. Bride of Chucky, a shit ton of times, because again, I really like that movie and it's a fun watch. I don't watch 1 a lot. 1 is 2 and 3, and Bride are probably my 3 favorites and the ones I remember the most. I rewatched one within the last year. I like the kid that played Andy older because it wasn't the same kid that played Andy.
Yeah, it
and
wasn't. Yeah.
I just know that that movie is not usually everyone's favorites. That's why I was a little shocked.
The first one?
No, 3.
Really?
I mean, I agree with Benji, and I that's why you had about 1,800 paragraphs worth of notes because you were.
I deleted a lot of those, so I can't show everyone. But all I have left in there is what I had for season 1, which again I didn't even really look at.
This man's had paragraphs.
Oh well, here. So I deleted everything for everything else besides season 1.
I think I'll need to see
So here, this is just the notes that I took for season 1 as I was rewatching it. So there was more notes on there.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get most of them? You think, or did we hit most of them? Or
I mean, I feel like we hit most of the points. Probably.
I mean, these were very, very these were detailed beat for beat things that happened throughout the season.
Okay.
In every episode. So we gave a more general overview and hit the highlights.
You know what we forgot to mention was the big I forgot to mention some of the key phrases that they end up saying all throughout the franchise. What's it called? What does they say? It's like a classic never goes out of style.
Yeah.
That they always say that. When he carries his blade, a classic never goes out of style. The car, where he meets the dude that sells him the car. You know what I'm saying? What's her name? Jennifer Tilly's says in Bride of Chucky. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Can you call me that?
I mean, he's used Devon Sawa to play 3 characters, so if they pulled in the kid,
I need to know, is there going to be some kind of weird connection?
He's going to be
Glenda.
Uncle? He's going to be Glenda.
He's not.
He's going to be Glenda.
Is there going to be some weird connection to Jake's dad, uncle? That's why he just looks so familiar to them. I want that to at least be acknowledged in some capacity, because I love when movies and shows do that shit. They're just you look kind of familiar, you kind of look like my dad, kind of thing. Which, yeah, because it is.
I'll be right back. You guys keep talking.
I know.
It's Justin Whalen, by the way, who actually was kind of big in that time period anyway on TV and shit like that, who played Andy Barclay in 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's still alive if they bring him back, because those actors, you never know.
As long as he doesn't have that Street Fighter Guile haircut, I think we're.
I mean, I can't remember who it is. It might be so we can't pull up the chat on screen.
Don Minchie has
reused, not refused.
Reused a lot. Yeah. Who played CP?
The cop who Jennifer Tilly kills. Wow. In Bride, played somebody else. Oh wait. Yeah, Jesus said, I think the cop from Bride was either used in a movie after or during the show. He was. I just can't remember who he played. Fuck. Because I know he did.
Gosh, you know what's you know what's funny? Do you see the one that he wrote about who played CP3 Andy for the show? My NBA knowledge kicked in. I read it as Chris Paul Andy.
I almost read it as C3PO. Almost. Because my brain didn't work.
Right. I was like, there's, what I'm saying? When you have too much fandom shit, in your brain.
Which the majority of the I've more so gathered, if not retained.
Now that you said C3PO, now I can't unsee that now.
I know, I'm so sorry. I just got my face with you.
No, that's too damn hilarious. That's too damn.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't. Yeah, season 2 is gonna be good. I can't wait. Halloween Kills is gonna be awesome. There's wait, hold on. You plan on doing Nope, right? At one point?
No, because I still have not watched Nope.
You ever watch it?
No.
Okay, because I don't know why okay, I know why some people don't like it, and some people are whatever. I like it. I like the movie.
I still haven't seen it.
Okay.
Came out on my birthday.
I may have to check it out, and we'll talk. I was thinking about doing something just because this was going to be more of a. I have a few ideas for shows. This was more of like a social commentary thing where I wanted to kind of discuss the whole what we kind of hinted at here, where everyone's like, "Oh, all these movies are so woke now, and I don't like horror movies because they're so," and like the issues that people have with Jordan Peele's movies because they're white people and they're like, "Oh, these movies aren't made for me," and like how they don't, how they misunderstand what's the story being told because they're trying to look at it from their perspective and not the perspective of the people that the movie's made for.
Right.
Like in Get Out. Like I remember when Get Out came, a lot of people were like, "Oh, so they think all white people want to be black." And it's like, no, that's not what this movie's
literally
about at all.
Not what that's
no,
about.
it's not. It's just
white people suck. That's the point. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
That was gonna bother me so much.
Yeah.
The cop in Bride who gets murdered by Jennifer Tilly is Malcolm in Cold.
So like Nope is actually not one of those. It's not like his first two.
Well, 3 if you count Candyman.
Yes, if you count Candyman. You know what's funny? What's it called? I used to play around with the idea that Candyman and Chucky was happening at the same time, and I would think that somehow they would team up. Wouldn't that be dope?
In Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago. Right.
Yep. No, that's 2 minutes. No, you can't be having multiple people.
Though I would love like just
awesome,
a random Tony Todd cameo in Chucky where he's dressed kind of like Candyman, maybe minus the hook.
Yeah.
And Chucky runs into him like Chucky's in Cabrini Green for some reason. Like old Cabrini Green.
And they just look at each other and then that's it. That they just go about their business. That'd be awesome.
There you go.
Well, that's another idea that I have for what might be our next episode. Because there's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about that I didn't really feel like we had to talk about. How Reek's not here, and Reek is one of the people that we were doing all of our horror stuff with, and kind of why we're doing it over here now to lighten the load a little bit because there's a whole back catalog and he's very busy, which is why he's not here talking about this with us and all that, and just other things. But one of the ideas that I have, which I've talked about on TikTok and Katie's heard, and I've written stuff down, everything is just sitting down and talking about my ideas for how to create a unified slasher verse where all of the killers in the slashers are connected, because I have essentially 2 ideas that I've typed out and started and haven't done anything with, that I just, why not put it on a podcast and talk about it and see what you guys think.
We're thinking Jason and Creature of the Black Lagoon are like on the same.
You are nowhere near what I'm talking
they're
about.
Both in a pond, lake.
I'm also not giving any spoilers until that episode comes out. So
he said,
unless you follow me on TikTok, and then you can go watch some of the TikToks I've done. You might hear some
the characters from Interview with a Vampire and American Werewolf in Paris. I'm saying, it could be
you're just connecting movies,
franchises.
Oh, dude, I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
You guys should have. So listen,
Jaws and Lake Placid. Yes.
Nobody knew this, but Katie kind of found this out last night, and so did Vince. When I was trying to figure out the name for the show, I was just in like a creative slump, and I couldn't. So I hit up our group chat, the 4 people that we normally get together to talk movies over on the Havoc Hour and everything like that. I've done Ghostbusters for the Get Show podcast with Justin and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So like our cinema crew is what we've called it. And I was like, hey, so I was going to call the show Terabytes, which is another thing I wanted to like talk about and clear up that I didn't get a chance to. But I was going to call the show Terabytes, and this is why it's now getting off. And I wanted it to be kind of like Smacking It Raw, where, it's a euphemism, but it's also about kind of the subject that we're talking about. So it had to be involved in horror, but also kind of like a sexual innuendo. I also hit up Vince and Travis. So I had like 3 separate conversations going on about this. Listen, the ideas that some of these guys threw out there, I'm not going to point fingers.
We point fingers.
I was gonna say, you know that thing on YouTube or the I understand the assignment. He did not understand the assignment at all. He did not understand the assignment. He was just throwing everything horror or sexual that had nothing to do with horror at the wall to see what stuck. But that's what I love about Justin, because Justin will just throw everything he can at you to try and help. And something good is going to come out of it, and it did, because I ended up with Getting Off. Reek really wanted this show to be called Swalloween,
or Fright Fap,
Stabbing It Raw and The Gory Hole were also ideas that I had that I did not like, or other people were using as far as The Gory Hole goes. But I think Getting Off was probably the best idea that came out of all of this. Katie had Nail in the Coffin, which then became Nailed in a Coffin, but a little long for a podcast title.
You know, I didn't have many ideas, but I kept them short, and I didn't just rattle everything off.
Travis gave me Travis gave me Scared Stiff and Fear Boner. Scared Stiff, actually an existing podcast. Fear Boner was not going to be the name of the show.
No.
Yeah, Fright Fap. He's like, give Fright Fap a chance. And he really loves Swalloween.
Yeah, give Fright Fap a chance.
What? Okay, so
I'm trying to go through and find any of Justin's.
I know one of them was from the back or from behind, because when you stab somebody, it's always from
from behind.
It needed to be more. So with you, Justin, it was either way too obvious, and there was like no innuendo. It was just like you said fucking. You're like, because that's what happens in a horror movie and also in a porno is fucking. So you said just call it fucking. Yeah.
This was the string. I have, let's see, Justin said, Frightmares. This is a knife. Running scared. Behind you. And then you just go, Justin. And he's like, oh, hell no. Mind you, these are in all caps. Because that is how Justin types. So the fact that it was just all of those. And then Matt's just simple, just like, Justin. And then you just kept going. You just didn't care.
Well, because a lot of those, again, didn't have any sexual innuendo in them, and it wasn't. I wanted to kind of make this the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub. I wanted to follow that, and that was a lot of the issues I had. Was like, even when I talked to my wife was giving me ideas, but they were all horror related, and I tried to explain it to her the same way, and she's like, "Yeah, well, I don't have any of those ideas, but it's a horror podcast, so here's this stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for, but thank you, I love you, I appreciate that," because I also plugged her in as well. Same thing with Vince. Vince isn't a big horror guy, so he was giving me some stuff that was not going to work, but came through with helping create this dope ass logo, the intro video, the outro video, and the whole look and feel of this show. So Vince was a big part of this, even though he's not here.
My other, I literally only had like 2 suggestions. My other one was Monster Smash, which I was kind of proud of.
I think
Reek said The Walking Head, so I feel like Monster Smash is better than The Walking Head. So
I think one of those. I think I looked up one of those. I think one of those is already a name. I don't know if it's Walking Dead or Monster Smash.
Probably both.
It's so crazy though. Like, yeah, it's so crazy when you think of names and you'd be like, yeah, this is probably not going to be. Nobody's going to use this. And you look, there's like 10 people that are using it.
Shout out to us for running down an entire season and 7 movies in under 2 hours.
Ooh, gangster.
Yeah.
Cut to
that's what I didn't realize.
Doing Halloween. Was it Halloween?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. We just split into 2.
Yeah.
Because we sat there for 4 hours talking about these goddamn movies.
I didn't even finish
my ass was not even like I couldn't even feel my ass because we were sitting for so long. I was just like, I need to move or my back's gonna break.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Which I still have a picture that I took. I don't think you or Reek know. I'm gonna post it soon. because it just encapsulates like what those fucking podcasts were.
It was under 2 hours, Benji. It was probably about an hour 45, hour 50, because we started the stream at 11:30, and then I told the strip club story.
That took about like 10 minutes.
Yeah, so about an hour 50, hour 45.
It went by though. I thought.
Yeah,
it didn't really go. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like 2 hours. I can tell you that right now.
I did have a rough start, but it is the first episode, even though I've been podcasting for 5 years. So there's that. But I honestly didn't really know how I wanted to do this until we got here. I had ideas, and I wasn't sure how I was gonna, because like I didn't want to be like I wanted you. I didn't want to do all of the talking the entire episode, and I had extensive notes to fucking run down. So I was like, how am I gonna do this? I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking wing it and talk about shit, and then ask you guys spits or swallows, and we'll go from there. Because stabs and kills is a Havoc Hour thing, and the Havoc Hour we're still gonna do shit. So
yes, we are still doing shit on the Havoc Hour.
But you have the phrase goreasm.
Gorgasm.
Gorgasm. Yes.
Yeah. So that's good. That's good.
So that's good.
You know what's funny? When I was listening to your podcast today, and you were talking about the Brainbuster episode, and you were talking about how like, you know, that they have music and all these different like things into their episode, and you were talking about how like your thing is just like your podcast is bare bones, and I just said, well, that's why it's called Smacking It Raw. And someone walked in when I said that. They're like, what are you watching? I was like, oh,
porn.
That probably would have been the easier answer.
Wrestle porn.
Wrestle porn.
See, that is the number one wrestle porn podcast, and this is the number one horror porn podcast. I'm gonna start plugging it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the number one wrestle porn podcast on Pornhub, the Smacking It Raw podcast. I am your host, the Warden Matt Ritter, aka the patron saint of podcasting.
No, but I thought this episode went well. I don't know if you were thinking of like adding things to the show or
no, because like I said, I don't know what the show is going to be like. I know I'm going to do an episode where I talk about that whole horror universe, and that's not going to really be like a review, so it's not going to be spits or swallows. Like there's not really going to be like a fit format to this in that way, because like if the new Hellraiser comes out, we talk to Reek, and Reek he isn't into Hellraiser, he doesn't want to do it, and we watch that, and we're like, all right, we'll go on here and talk about it. Or if he does, I told Reek already, because we do that stuff over there, like I'll give him first dibs on covering some shit over there, and then I'll figure out what else I want to do over here.
It's like we have to do Halloween Ends on Havoc Hour.
I'm also going to talk to him about maybe keeping Havoc Hour non-horror cinema and Star Wars show related, and doing the horror stuff over here, and see how he feels about that. But I want to make sure he's available and involved in all of that when we want to do it. If he wants to have it over there, then we'll have it over there. Like, so we'll figure it out.
You know what's funny? It's like so on This Your Boy Just, I was thinking about doing Halloween movies, but I know they're not going to be the movies that you and Rico will be talking about, because I'll be talking about I'll be talking about Casper.
I love Casper.
Coraline.
Okay.
Hocus Pocus 1 and 2, which
Hocus Pocus 1 and 2.
Just watched Hocus Pocus the other day.
Beetlejuice will probably be one of them.
I'm gonna try and do this for Benji here. Let's see if I can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, no, I don't know if I can do country. I really don't.
Yeah.
He wants you to do a country intro?
Yeah, he said do it in a country accent, LOL, the intro. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on, give me a second.
Maestro.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the number one horror porn podcast on Pornhub, Getting Off. I am your host, the patron saint of podcast, and the Warden Matt Ritter.
This is Justin Santos. How y'all doing? Howdy.
How y'all doing? If we ever had to do that, I don't know if I could for a whole show.
Cletus?
Maybe
Cletus, are you there in the chat room, Cletus? Get Barbara to help you with the chat room now. Get on your keyboard. Come on.
Can you do an Irish accent?
I cannot. And my wife will tell you when it comes to accents outside of Dusty Roads and whatever that country accent was, I am bad. I thought I had a decent British accent. It's terrible. She makes fun of me all the time. Cannot do it.
Irish is kind of hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, you really just have to, like, listen to Finn.
I'm a leprechaun.
All right.
I was going to say, I just listened to Warwick
There's
Davis.
the stereotypical Irish accent down there.
Lucky
But, like,
Charms are magically delicious.
it's just the way they enunciate things.
That's not even an accent. That's just saying things in a high-pitched voice like you're a leprechaun. Like, there's not even an accent there.
It's like, because if you ever listen to Finn say his name, he says Finn Balor. Like,
Finn
Balor. Balor.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Finn Balor, it's Finn Balor.
Come join the
he's a
Judgment
baller.
Day.
Baller.
I have abs.
Big ball Finn.
I have abs. What the fuck? Justin went for the Tom Cruise Irish accent.
Damn.
God damn.
I guess you could say it's Top Gun.
How do I get out of here? I think
Me
Becky
doing that
has more of an
accent.
accent
Me
than
doing
Finn,
that accent wasn't a mission impossible.
So he laughs at himself. He thinks he's funny.
But yeah, so those are a couple of the ideas I have. Is the joint horror verse, which will again not be a spit or swallow episode. If we do more reviews, I don't necessarily know right now. I'm gonna have to see. We might just review the new Hellraiser movie. We might do an entire Hellraiser series because I have all of those and Katie can watch them. So, because I know you have not seen those.
Lawnmower
I've seen the
Man.
first one. That's
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
I have seen the first Hellraiser. It's been a while.
So,
I have seen it. So like,
I haven't figured that out yet. So we'll see.
Tales from the Hood. We gotta do Tales from the Hood.
Tales from the Hood.
Justin's background looks like the anticipation's killing me. Hurry up, Henry. He's ready to do an interview with the vampire.
Oh, dude. Christian
Justin's
Slater?
background looks like he's ready to do an interview with Dave Meltzer.
Jesus.
Except that my face is smooth. His has like a whole acne problem.
Your background. What does that got to do with your face?
Oh, because Dave Meltzer is. What? Okay, anyway.
Now, I know, I think it was Benji asked all of us to do like the Charles Lee Ray laugh. Can you do the Chucky laugh, like the doll laugh?
No.
Like the ha.
Dude, I cannot get high. I cannot at all. Like, so that's the one thing. The only reason I can kind of do a country accent is I grew up listening to a lot of Garth Brooks because my grandmother loved Garth Brooks.
Okay.
And when I sing Garth Brooks, I get a little country in there.
Twang.
But when Garth Brooks hits high notes, I can't do it. And like when he holds those high notes, it's bad. So certain songs that I'm really good at, there's spots in those songs where it just does not work because I can't get that key that he gets. So I'm kind of flat. But other than that,
I mean, listen, depending on where you're doing karaoke, 90% of the people are flat. Or sharp.
Well, are we talking about
or
karaoke country music?
I mean, it's karaoke in general.
Oh, okay. Because I think there's a country music that we all know, a country song that we all know.
Oh God.
It goes like, I spend my days working hard on the go. You know what
Matt
I'm talking about?
cannot sing.
Matt can probably sing.
Matt can sing Garth Brooks, and that's about it. And probably not well. My wife probably lies to me about that, but she tells me everything else and how bad I am because she actually sings, which you may hear about soon. So,
Ooh, whoop, whoop, whoop. Ow!
I can do a very little bit for you if you'd like.
Go ahead
For the post show.
Can the rack sing? Oh God!
I'll do this, and then I'll try and do it in the Rack's voice.
You don't have to try the rack's voice.
Papa drove a truck nearly all his life. He know it drove Mama crazy being a trucker's wife. The part she couldn't handle was a being alone. I guess he needed more to hold than just a telephone. Papa called Mama each and every night just to ask her how she was and if his kids were all right. Mama would wait for that call to come in, but when Daddy'd hang up, she was gone again.
Wow.
Going again.
That was good. That
No,
was
it was
good.
not good.
Yeah, it was.
Why
Yeah,
does no one
fingers
like the
snapped.
rack? Shut the fuck
Dude,
up,
I don't
Jesus.
know, Jesus. The Rack is fantastic. If you haven't listened to the Brainbusters episode, the Rack makes a cameo for a Manscaped commercial.
Wait, who doesn't like the rack?
Katie, Pretty Kyle,
Okay.
Vince,
It's
Travis.
not that I listen. It's not
The
that
Rack
I don't
is great.
like the rack. The rack just makes me not as much as the first time I saw them. I'm not as uncomfy now. The rack does say some out of pocket shit that throws me off guard.
I also really don't know if I'm able to do this. Finally, the Rack hath come back, baby. Papa drove a truck nearly all his life. You know it drove Mama crazy being a trucker's wife. The part she couldn't handle was the being alone. I guess she needed more to hold than just a telephone. Papa called Mama each and every night just to ask him how she was and if his kids were all right. Papa would wait for that call to come in, but when Daddy hang up, she was gone again.
Oh my god! I actually didn't expect you to do that.
I love the
I
rack.
didn't either.
The rack is awesome.
The rack has his moments.
The rack is great.
Benji apparently really loved that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow, was not.
I pretty
got
God no one watches the live of this. And
Oh, I hope they do.
Who's
I really
here?
do.
I hope they do. Someone clip it, flip it. Crying. It was good.
It was a great show, man. Thank you for
okay.
letting
I was
me
talking
come
about
on
bad
and do
singing,
this.
but that's fun. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck Justin said because I was talking.
Oh, I'm
while he
sorry,
was talking.
Kate. I'm sorry.
It's
Justin was
fine.
talking about the show, and you were talking about the singing.
Yeah,
Real
I
quick
definitely
before-
heard worse.
Real quick before I go, Matt, how many Chuckies do you have? Do you have 2? I've only seen the one.
No, this is the only. Well, this is the only one I have right now. I had 2.
What happened to the other one?
So
I thought you had just the regular good guy.
I did.
Okay.
And it was voice activated and talked. It was the same as that. It just didn't have the scars.
Right.
Kate's cousin's daughter, so I guess Kate's second cousin, Alina.
Mm-hmm.
I found out that she's got to be 5 or 6 now. A year or 2 ago, she was really into Chucky and stuff like that for some reason. I wasn't the show, like it was stuff she found on YouTube and shit, because kids get on YouTube and find shit they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And really like kind of scary shit. So her mom, just to kind of piss her off, for her birthday, I gave her the talking Chucky doll so she could have that for her birthday. And her mom was pissed. So mad at me.
Oh well.
The only reason I didn't give her this one, because I would have kept that one, is this one is actually signed by Brad Dourif.
Oh, what the fuck? That's awesome.
I took it to a convention and I got the autographs. So. I carry this around with me at a horror convention.
As you should.
Signed by Brad Dourif. So.
As you should. You should have pushed
You
it
know
in the
what?
stroller.
You know what I also wanted to do, like whenever we link up again and do this getting off episode, I kind of want to do like a thing where like if we had to have like a horror faction, make it wrestling related, who would be on the squad? So let's say a team of 4 or team of 5. Who would be yours, basically? Who would be yours? We could go around.
You want to save that and do a show, or you want to talk about it now?
Yeah,
because
we should probably save that for a show. We should probably save that.
Because it sounded like you were leaving, and now you're all like, "Hey, pick
Yeah, now he's like,
team
"Hey,
of 4
guys."
faction."
Well, I don't know. Do I have your juices titillated? Do you want to?
I wouldn't. I don't like the phrasing of that, but I mean, that's up to y'all if you want to talk about it now, or we can save it, or we can talk about it now and do it on a show.
Yeah.
Like we can do both.
I won't say who. I wouldn't say who would be on mine, but I would say the leader would be Chucky. That's all I'm saying.
The leader of your faction is Chucky.
The leader of my faction is Chucky, the small dude. Come on. When you think about it, he's the smartest one. He might not be the deadliest one, but he's definitely the smartest one.
Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is, while you guys are thinking, the album of all of the celebrities I've met at conventions.
Awesome.
So that is, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I can't see if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Rufus from House of a Thousand Corpses.
Dang, that guy's tall as hell.
Captain Spaulding.
Dude.
He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 as Chop Top, and then obviously House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects.
All those good ones.
Nancy.
Nancy.
Jill Tuck from Saw. This actually looks like I have hair.
It does. It really threw me off.
The background.
Mm-hmm. Stood there perfect. Here's me getting choked by Kane Hodder.
Yeah, awesome.
Which Katie is super jealous of right now.
Yep. I love Kane Hodder.
Here's me getting choked by Kane Hodder again.
Like they had put on their toys.
We should get more pictures. Danny Trejo, who is much shorter than I thought he was.
Bro, yeah, he is. Oh my gosh.
Another one with Kane Hodder. He said, "Hey, last time I saw you, I choked you, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, we can take a regular."
Let me do it again.
So.
Wow, he remembered. That's crazy.
That's just me standing by Jake the Snake Roberts.
Wow.
Just you standing there.
Comparing each other's snakes.
And then me and DDP with my terrible facial hair that I had there.
I mean,
that.
It's me.
Victoria.
Oh,
Before I went to a restaurant and we had a falling out.
What?
There's me and Farouk and Travis and my buddy Phil.
Nice.
Wow, that's definitely scumbag Matt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Technically, all of these are. No, not all of them. DDP,
No, but you
Victoria.
You could tell.
That was scumbag Matt. This is also scumbag Matt.
I can kind of see it.
Yeah, that was.
I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Concert.
All good things.
Me and McFoley.
Oh, McFoley, yeah.
Yeah, we got some good ones.
Al Snow. He gave me head.
Stupid.
There's me in the background of a picture of John and his ex-girlfriend and Bears player. Justin, who is that?
Is that Lance Davis?
No, that's not Lance Davis.
I like that it's just you in the background.
Freddy versus Jason. In my old white family t-shirt.
I thought I was gonna say, I don't know why I thought that was Daniel Harris.
No, that's Monica Kino. Oh, we'll get to Daniel Harris.
Hi.
This was Barbie Wilde, who played the female Cenobite in the original Hellraiser.
Oh my gosh.
She looks fun.
Yeah.
Catherine Isabel, who is one of my biggest horror crushes.
I love her.
See No Evil 2. Fuck.
She's in a lot.
Yeah, she's in Freddy versus Jason, and she has a whole werewolf show thing that she did. Robert Englund, when I met him.
Oh man, that is awesome.
That's not even fair.
Was this was that C2E2 or
no, that is horror convention they have in Rosemont.
Oh, okay.
It's either Days
just
of the Dead or there's two that they do in the area that's just straight horror.
It's just okay, like a standalone.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Me and Teddy.
Oh yeah, and you weren't blocked.
Dude,
this is why I didn't get blocked. When I met him, he told my wife she was lucky she married me because this was shortly after we got married, or I think we were either soon to be married and engaged or shortly after we got married. And he told her that she was lucky. Me and Tony Todd. who is one of the coolest fucking people I've ever met.
Yeah, look at that guy.
He's tall.
Yeah.
I mean, I took 4 pictures with him, and he just kept chatting me up. He was cool as shit. Me and Doug Bradley, Pinhead, the original.
Wow.
He played the Chatterer in Hellraiser.
Okay.
Is that a Jason shirt that you're wearing?
Me and my boy Kevin Nash.
You and your boy.
No, that is a Kane t-shirt. That is that mask that he wore after he took his mask off for a while.
That is dope. I've never seen that.
Me and Booker T.
Nice. Damn, look at his hands.
If you've noticed, it's been
Holy
Bray
shit.
Wyatt and Kane and maybe a horror movie t-shirt or 2 in there, but
Yeah,
there's
like,
a Haddonfield shirt.
Michael Myers is one. Then you had one with all of them.
Me trying to be the honorary use.
Before Sami Zayn.
Yep.
You gotta post that. Be like, I tried once.
I tried once.
Me and Road Warrior Animal. He let me wear the pads.
Oh,
They fit.
dude, is that heavy?
Yeah, they weren't bad actually.
Okay. Was it a rush?
It was. What a rush.
Damn it.
Scout Taylor Compton, who played Lori in Rob Zombie's Hellraiser.
Oh yeah. She's so pretty.
Forgot about that.
She was really cool too. So, and you can tell like this, even though it looks like one of those creepy fan photos, like she doesn't look creeped out, so that was a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like totally it was like genuine emotion.
And then there is not Annie, but it's Kristen Klebe.
It says Linda.
Linda, yes, there you go. It's right there, and I don't know why I'm looking around. This is Dick Warlock, who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
Shout out.
Don Shanks from Halloween 5.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
Jason Bade's mask right there.
Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers.
Nick Castle.
The Nick Castle.
The man, the myth,
The myth. The
the
legend.
legend.
Daniel Harris, the only celebrity I've ever
Yes.
met that I couldn't fucking talk to and just choked up like an idiot.
The number
Right.
one horror hottie.
I mean I would be the same way. Ugh. I'm so jealous of this.
Dude, that is awesome. What?
Brett.
China.
Brett.
Nice.
Bruce Campbell.
Ah, that's awesome.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at him. What a dapper man.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Bruce.
Bruce.
See, I have a bunch of these. They're carbon. They called them carbonite killers. I don't think they make them anymore.
Oh, those
I
are
got-
yeah, those are
Pretty much all of them. And then when I went to these conventions, I had everyone who
Sign
played the characters sign them. So they're all
Sweet.
signed and cool. This was Bill Johnson, who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Steve Dash, who played Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th Part 2, Under the Mask, with a machete to my throat, and the little carbonite killer Jason.
Those are awesome.
With the machine in my throat.
CJ Graham, who pointed out to me because I had Kane Hodder sign first that this carbonite killer is actually based off his Jason, not Kane Hodder's, because you can see Kane Hodder's signature down there, and he was not happy that I had Kane sign something that he was in.
Damn. Boo. Tomato.
And there's Brad Dourif.
Hey. Wow. Look
Yeah,
at that
probably
man's
my
face.
biggest. So there's that too. But yeah, Brad Dourif. Here's him signing the Chucky doll.
Glasses on.
That's
everything.
awesome.
That's how you know.
I guess I could just go like this.
I was gonna say you really could have just gone like that.
Yeah. Also, Jason,
Okay.
Lita, and Trish in the background.
look at her.
I know. What the fuck? This isn't fair.
They're all at the horror convention?
Yeah, they were all at a horror convention.
That's awesome.
These are various horror conventions throughout the years. I haven't actually been to one in a couple years because of, well, it was the pandemic, and then I had a baby, so.
It's probably if they were to do another one, it'd probably be big too. And with all the stuff that's come out in the last, like, how many,
Mm-hmm. See, that's the dream.
This is outside of Arena where he was signing autographs. I just got a picture of him. Not with me.
Dude,
that's not
awesome.
me.
Is that Bobber?
Oh,
yeah, that's Bobby Lashley.
Bobby.
From his first run.
Not the almighty United States
No,
champion.
the W champion, Bobby Lashley.
Well, now he's the almighty United States champion, Bobby Lashley.
That's right, baby.
Horror icon Teddy Long. See, I didn't even get to see any of these because it was like.
Oh yeah.
Thing, so.
But Benji said I'm surprised at the lack of pics at porn conventions here.
Well, guys, I have to call it a night.
Okay.
But this was great. Gotta do this again. And yeah. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for
Wrong show,
you.
Justin.
Didn't even talk about that.
Benji, are you still here?
All right, y'all. I'll check y'all later.
It was just, well, he really just didn't even get the chance to say goodbye. Wow.
Well, you tried to leave like half an hour ago, so.
Well, that's true, but then you started showing pictures.
Yeah.
Hey, Benji's still here. He said goodnight, babe.
Hey, Benji, if you're still here, you didn't get to see this because I think you missed the beginning of it, so I'll play it for you, and then we'll bounce. Following podcast contain mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Smacking the Raw podcast. I am your host, the patron saint of trucking, the warden Matt Ritter.
Not the patron saint of trucking. Oh no. Stupid.
I am. So
That's okay. I am too. It's fun. It's fine. We're all friends.
yeah. Oh,
What?
Reanimator is my leader.
Oh, I was like, huh? Oh fuck! It's Friday already. No, no, Jesus, it's not Friday. God, if it was already Friday, I didn't even do my show this week.
We're all about trucking and fucking at the Smacking the Raw podcast.
See, I just knew that phrase would come out eventually if you were gonna keep talking like that. And that southern cousin fucking accent.
Whoa. That accent has never fucked one of my cousins.
Hurt my hand.
I'm glad the people that were in the chat listening, Jesus and Benji and Tim, enjoyed it. Will said he was going to be here, but I don't know. He wasn't in the chat, so I don't know if he caught it or not. But you had fun, right? Was it everything you were all excited to do?
I was. It was fun. I liked it. It was a good time.
I'll have to hear what Reek thinks. Get his critique if he gets back from his cruise.
And so you got about 6 days.
Yeah.
Give or take. It's his birthday, technically, now.
Oh, shit. Well, I wish my birthday tomorrow.
What?
In group chat, like when I wake up.
Oh, all I heard, I'll wish him a birthday tomorrow is what I heard.
I wish him a happy birthday tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not like he's gonna see anything anyways. He's on a fucking boat. Who knows how well the internet connection is on water.
Well, happy birthday from the patron saint of trucking, the warden Matt Ritter. Big shout out, Big 10-4 to Reek on his birthday.
He's turning the big 3-0.
Turning the big 3-0.
He's old.
I feel like the more I do this, the more country it gets.
It's usually how it goes.
So, all right.
Especially for y'all.
Everyone is leaving. And then we've got 2 viewers left. So,
It's
over on
Benji and
Twitch.
Jesus.
I think it's just Benji and Nightbot. So,
not Nightbot.
but yeah. Again, thank you guys for coming. Katie, thanks for doing this with me.
Welcome.
We'll be back. I'll let you know whenever we get some time and figure it out. It'll be sometime this month. We'll watch Hellraiser maybe after Halloween comes out and figure out what Reek wants to do. And if he's cool with just doing horror stuff here, maybe we'll do Halloween and Hellraiser together or something.
Okay. That's fine. I mean, that's definitely up for you two to talk about. I just go where you guys allow me. Like the first time we did the Halloween, I literally just sat there and you guys just argued, which I kind of want to go back and watch.
I was right and he was wrong.
Oh my god.
Oh, all right. Bye, guys.